All right. Hey, what do you say, Seattle hockey fans? I couldn't find my charger. And as you can probably see, I'm in a different location. So, got started a little bit later than I thought. But we're here. And I'm actually watching on NHL Network. NHL Network is going to be hosting game 2 of the AHL final between the Hershey Bears. There we go. And the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Firebirds took game 1, so that's good news. But we know what it's about. It's about unfinished business. Our guys, yeah, our guys, they got some unfinished business. So, we're going to see if they can get it done. So, hope you got your snacks. Hope you got your drinks. We're going to talk about the AHL playoffs. Let's go to, NHL.com /Kraken. And Bob Condor has a preview of today's game, including, the title is Game 2, Look for Hershey on a Rebound. What to expect ahead of Sunday's Game 2 of the Calder Cup Final between the Firebirds and Hershey. More shots on goal, home crowd energy, prospects in play. In a game, Coachella Valley led from the later first period to the final buzzer, carrying a 4-2 margin as Hershey was whistled for what effectively was 4 straight penalties in 9 minutes of play in the third period. A Firebirds win didn't seem secure until the clock showed 0. But you mark off a Calder Cup final victory any way it is delivered in what CVF, Coachella Valley Firebirds, coach Dan Bilesma calls a race to 4 wins and a cup celebration. Here are 3 things to expect when the puck drops at 2 p.m. Sunday in central Pennsylvania on AHL TV and the NHL Network. 1, goaltenders getting busy. This is where the Firebirds, he's talking about protecting a 2-goal lead, eventually getting a 4-3 win. Only logged double-digit shots on goal, 10 for Hershey in the first period, 11 for Coachella Valley in the second stanza. The third period totaled 5 shots on goal for the home squad, including 2 monster saves by Firebirds goalie Chris Juger in the last 2 minutes that also featured a third Hershey goal. So back and forth. This is a Hershey team that, again, took us the distance. And we talked about it with JD, was just at the time last year a more poised team. They had to fight, sure, but they were more poised and they just had a little bit more discipline. This year, we're seeing Coachella Valley be able to win those kinds of games. Hey, Joe, my other team was the Monsters since I'm in Columbus. If it came down to them both, I would have been so hyped and conflicted. But now I'm just full on Firebirds. Well, hey, you know what? We'll take it. Listen, I know what it's like to have 2 conflicting teams. It's totally fine. But, we'll take it. We'll take you rooting for the Firebirds. Thanks for joining. Oh man, they're talking on NHL Network about Game 4 of the Stanley Cup. Did you watch that game? I have a little part-time job at a restaurant, and it was brutal. It was a brutal game. Bobrovsky gets chased out. I mean, that's tough. But in hockey, there's a saying, I would hear it a lot, especially in women's hockey, but mostly in hockey. Hillary Knight would say, the toughest thing to do is to end someone's season. Toughest thing to do is to end someone's season. And I mean, it's true, right? We're not quite there in this series, but it's tough. It's tough to end someone's series because the pride, the desperation can kind of seep in if you're the team that's down. And I think that's also what you see Bob Condor saying, is that it's like, listen, we're ready for a dogfight. Fuego is definitely ready. I think this is Fuego on some Dragon Ball Z. I think this is from Dragon Ball Z. Fuego is not quite up there with Ellie the elephant, who is the mascot for the for my hometown team in the WNBA, the New York Liberty, but is pretty solid. This isn't even my final form. This is on social media. Fuego having a good time, just ready to go. Look at that. These pictures are Fuego. Pun definitely intended, but Fuego is ready to go. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's go back to what Bob Condor was saying. And then I'm going to, whoops, let me get rid of that. I'm probably going to, I got to get a light because it's going to get dark. And the light's actually behind me here. I got to commemorate with a friend of mine through Game 4. We were both shocked. The other people in Discord had no idea what we were talking about. Yeah, it was kind of wild. They're talking about it right now. Edmonton showed up, period. And that's, if you're an Edmonton fan, that's what you want. You want to show signs of life. I know I went on a rant, I don't know, a couple of episodes ago on Locked On Kraken about some of the stats for Edmonton, and it's just like, anemic offense in the playoffs. Draisaitl, right, hadn't gotten anything going. Most of the offense, like a decent amount, a high percentage of the offense was coming from Connor McDavid, which, has been the MO of Edmonton in the past, right? Oh, Fuego also did a Cody Rhodes WWE with Finish the Story here for it. I love it. Fuego is a lot of fun. Okay, anyway, as promised, let's get back to Bob. Okay, bearing it on the road. Hershey is defending Calder champs and 7-2 at home this postseason. They've only lost 2 games at home. Those are numbers that you have to respect. Yeah, you don't have to buy into them, but you have to know that they play well at home. If we look at the Seattle Kraken, we know they don't always play well at home. So you got to respect the team that can get it done. A 7-2 record at home in the postseason, that's pretty solid. They lead the league in wins and win percentage at .860. They gave up 60 goals in 36 home games, 20 less than any other team, and 35 less than Coachella Valley, who had 94 goals against, 4th best in the AHL. Only 6 teams had under 100 or more goals. So Bob's reminding us that we should expect some pushback. And we heard from JD some players, Hendricks, Lapierre, Snively. Lapierre, 17 points. Snively, 14 points. Ethan Frank, 13 points. All among the top 4 AHL postseason scorers. But remember, when we had JD on the show, what we talked about was that it's more of a balanced effort scoring. So the offense is humming. And so if you're watching NHL Network, they're talking about AHL right now. So it's almost game time.
The second 60 is just ahead. Game 2 of the Calder Cup Finals right now on Fox 43.
Here we go. It's almost time. Oh, boo. They're showing, well, this is the Hershey feed. They're showing the 2023 Calder Cup, the moment. So that's kind of brutal. Okay. And then, of course, Bob Condor talking about the prospects that we get to see. We have a lot of guys, and again, this is something that we talked about with JD, a lot of guys that have been able to get NHL time, especially the way the Kraken were playing. The Kraken were hurt this season. The Kraken weren't playing well this season. And so Riker Evans had a long stretch, and I loved JD being on Friday's episode because what he talked about is that he sees the impact from Riker being with the team for an extended stay versus, as he said, the cup of coffee, which isn't that from Bull Durham? At least that's where I heard it from. More than just a cup of coffee. I want to go back to the box score because speaking of prospects, I mean, we've got a lot of guys that we are taking a good look at. We mentioned Snively. He's the one who scored the first goal for Hershey Bears in the first period. But then John Hayden, who's been really great, got his 8th goal of the playoffs. Not quite a response goal, but he did get that right around the middle of the first period, and it was shorthanded. JD also talked to us about the penalty kill, being able to get some shorthanded goals. Excuse me. Ryan Winterton also got a goal in the first period. He gets the first goal in the second for either team. The Hershey Bears scored also in the second, so we've got it knotted up until Hayden scores his 9th in the second. And then LaPierre, who we've heard about, I just mentioned, LaPierre and from Snively and Dubé gets that goal in the third, but too little too late as the Coachella Valley Firebirds, they hold on. Now, one thing that, of course, we're taking a look at is Shane Wright. Shane Wright had 4 shots in that game 1. We talked to JD. Also, Shane Wright on Friday had been talking to media. He was like, of course, I want to get back out there. Of course, excuse me. Of course, if I can play, I want to play. And we heard from JD saying that, it was really just about wanting the Firebirds staff wanting to be maybe a little conservative in the series against the Admirals, which they were able to ultimately close out, not wanting to get him into a situation where he comes back and then is put in a tough situation. That series did get physical, a little bit too physical at times. And so just wanting to protect Shane. So it was good to see Shane Wright back on the ice. We'll see what kind of impact he has, but just having him on the ice is really good. Overall, Chris Drieger, another solid night. He plays all 60, 16 saves on 19 shots faced, 19 saves for Hunter Shepard, who I talked about with JD. JD, says, he's an average size goalie, maybe on the shorter side, but he's able to do some solid work in net. And we got to respect that as well. So not playing so direct, making sure we're racking up the assists. That's something that I talked about that Florida was doing really well in the Stanley Cup Final. And then I think Edmonton did that really well in Game 4 yesterday. So just some things to keep in mind. Oh, hey there. What's up, Ann Kimmel?
How are you, Erica? Of course, I had to jump in and tune into this because I am overly emotionally invested. Not sure which way, but I'm overly emotionally invested.
Well, we understand and appreciate that. We've got Joe in the comments that also is just saying, listen, the Columbus Monsters, I know, a team that Hershey had to get through. So we get it. We understand people can hold space and hold love in their heart for multiple teams. And it's not always clear how you're going to feel once one team is done. And then it's like, oh, I'll just go to my other team. You can still hold feels. So we understand, but we're grateful that you're popping in either way. There you go, Joe.
Joe gets me.
Right. So relatable. So relatable. Okay. So, Anne, let's walk through this. Obviously, the Firebirds and the Admirals, they face off again in the West. Once again, the Firebirds are able to tough it out. And I know you were at those games, in Wisconsin. Tell me what you saw from the Admirals, but and how you think the Firebirds were able to overcome the Admirals once again. And did it look or feel any different than last season, Anne?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. This really was, to me, a very different series, despite the fact that you have the, two teams, some very similar pieces in the team, some very similar success in the regular season on both these two teams as they met up again in the Western Conference Finals. I was at Game 4, the game that Milwaukee won. You're welcome, Milwaukee. I'll come for more next time. What was interesting to me throughout this series, two things that I think were very important. Number one, Yaroslav Askarov was not in net for the Milwaukee Admirals. Now, he also was in and out of net during last postseason as well, but was injured this time. Troy Grosnick came in, played pretty well. And I think Milwaukee was especially thankful for him in the Game 4 that they won. Chris Driedger really was having quite a series against the Admirals. And that is a compliment to him because Milwaukee had some pieces that have had a lot of success in their postseason run. Zachary LaRue, first year in the pros. He leads still as of puck drop starting now. He still leads AHL postseason goal scorers with 10 goals, despite the fact that they didn't get to the finals. So they had some pieces, a young Fedor Svechkov, another player in his first professional season with the Admirals. They had pieces that were generating offense, but Chris Driedger just was so quality in net for the Firebirds. And the other thing is, I think the Firebirds really had that kind of bounce back mentality. They attacked first. Milwaukee made some early mistakes. And I think once Coachella Valley kind of got that momentum going, they kept their foot on the gas. And it really was an effort for Milwaukee to kind of try to claw their way back into that series. And it was just a little too much, a little too little too late. It wasn't quite the same series. It didn't, obviously only went to 5 games, didn't go to 7 games.
Right.
But there was a lot about it that I think tells us in Milwaukee and Nashville a lot about what's in the pipeline. And I also think it was a very emotional game as a rematch, which this AHL Calder Cup Final is as well. And it's interesting to me to watch Hershey and Coachella Valley because I know, and we heard this covering the games, Coachella Valley wanted back in this one. They wanted a shot again at the Hershey Bears. So a lot of emotion in this postseason for these teams.
Absolutely. You hit on so much. They're showing Chris Driedger on NHL TV right now. And that's something that another member of our Locked On NHL family has talked a lot about. And that, of course, is Jason J.D. Hernandez. Can you believe it? And the very PA announcer for the Firebirds, the first ever PA announcer, comes from the Locked On network, which is so awesome. We're so it's just a joy to hear JD talk about the Firebirds because, of course, he has a unique opportunity and vantage point to see this team. And Driedger, we tried comparing Driedger to Joey Decord, and because that's an obvious thing, right? That's a massive change. And they're very different goalies, not just in their approach and their style, but obviously Chris Driedger has NHL experience.
Right.
It's been unfortunate that he has, whether it was dealing with COVID or other injuries, he's just never been 100% for the Seattle Kraken, which is why he's been with the Firebirds this year. Decord actually won out that starting role as we see this game. Drieger just made a save right there against Hershey. I mean, I think it almost writes itself, right? And it would be such a feel-good story. Obviously, the Firebirds have unfinished business. Obviously, Disco Dan Bilesma going to be the eventual head coach of the Kraken, but also Chris Drieger is a great story as well. And likely this is his last run with the Kraken organization. So we're just trying to see what the Firebirds can do here. But to say it's just for Bilesma or Drieger, no. There's plenty of guys on this ice that remember what it felt like last year to lose Game 7
Oh,
for time and
brutal.
are crushed. Hey,
Yep.
Striatic, let's go Firebirds. That's right. So we're about almost 3 minutes into the game now, still scoreless. Hershey with the puck in their offensive zone. But this is a Hershey team that they maybe didn't get to the final the way they wanted. They obviously are not the more rested team, but they just had a discipline that last year the Firebirds didn't have. And the reason that it's so critical, I think, to talk about Drieger is because he helps anchor a little bit of that discipline that we've seen, the maturity that we've seen from this Firebirds squad. And this is a Firebirds team that even last year, they were really solid offensively. But, and you know how much I love defense, and I do feel like defensively, they really stepped it up a notch this year.
Yeah, it has been, I know for Milwaukee has been able to generate quite a bit of offense obviously through the regular season. They had that 20-game win streak. Again, lots of young players generating offense. But I shouted out Chris Drieger, but I'm telling you, Milwaukee struggled to get on the board against the Firebirds in the series this time around. And you have to give credit to the defense. They've really found ways, to shut down what Milwaukee was able to do in the regular season as well. So, you got to give them credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we already see that it's getting physical here. And that's something that I would say the Firebirds never shy away from. But similarly to any team, it can be the gift and the curse, right? To play a physical game, but to not get wrapped up in that is where, again, the discipline comes in. I think most teams will say that they want to play 5-on-5, right? They don't want to have to be dealing with special teams one way or another, especially if you've got guys that are playing on both sides. Then you're kind of wearing folks out. It just changes. It changes the game. So right now we see Hershey, they get the first power play opportunity here. Pretty solid PK. We saw a shorthanded goal in game 1. John Hayden has been one of the players who really stepped up. And here we go. Opportunity now for the Firebirds and a big save. Holy cannoli, right on cue, at least for me. I know we kind of are doing a watch along, so apologies for anyone that's not quite in sync.
I know. I'm like, wait, I'm like 3 seconds behind you, but at least now I know what's going to happen. Well, and I will say the PK against Milwaukee was fantastic. Milwaukee really struggled to generate anything on the power play against Coachella Valley. And a credit to them, because that's been something that's been very good. But yeah, you have to watch these shorthanded opportunities, because those can change the outcome of this game.
Yes.
And Coachella Valley is not afraid to be just that ounce more aggressive on the PK to go for that. So,
Exactly.
buckle up.
And, proof in the pudding right there. Good shot, good save. Now, I've said this before. I know we've got some Locked On Kraken fans in the chat here, but Chris Drieger and Martin Jones, I like them a lot when the puck is tight, right? When they have to make saves tight, they're calm, they're poised. I think their size has something to do with that. Martin Jones in particular, but sometimes Drieger as well. When that shot was coming from the perimeter, from the outside, sometimes you lose that. And on the one hand, that's where you want people to shoot the puck, right? From you don't want them having high danger shots. But if you're not letting your goaltender see that puck, or, if it gets a deflection, those can actually be more dangerous. So bodies in front of net, I'm very curious to see how the Firebirds play that here. But they also do a pretty good job getting bodies in front of net offensively.
Yeah, they do. And I know, again, I go back to this Milwaukee series. It's the series I saw the most from Coachella Valley,
Mhm.
and they had a lot of net front chances. And Troy
Yeah.
Grosnick really was hustling when it came time for giving up a rebound or having a loose puck in front of the net. You've got to get in there and clear that space out. And that was part of, I think, what fed into such a physical series. I think there were other elements, but I do think that those net front battles really fed into a physical series between Coachella Valley and the Admirals in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, for sure. We
It
might
was
have to ask you.
frothy.
Ooh, kind of a broken play there by the Firebirds, kind of speaking about high danger chances, kind of middle of the slot there, but couldn't connect on the pass. And now Hershey trying to dig it out in their offensive zone. This also gives me a chance to practice my play-by-play. I haven't done as much this year as I'm accustomed to.
You are fabulous at it, so take it away. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. It stresses me out.
Oh man, it's a lot of fun. Oh man, look at the flow here. Look at the flow for that's Hunter, right? And our Shepherd, I should say, in net.
And he has it going. I mean, you talk about a playoff beard. He has a whole playoff
Like
thing going.
leaning into the bear of it all.
He is. He is committed to the part. He is committed to the part. Let's go.
Indeed. There's two comments from Striatic that I want to get to. One is, I mean, Firebirds fans, I think we all felt that. Like, there must be a game 8, right? There has to be. There's no way it ends like this. There's like that quote that I love using from The Matrix. Not like this. Not like this. That was brutal. That was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Was brutal. And you see, I mean, I've used that picture, that image in a few of our promos of Unfinished Business, and that was really tough. But of course, Hershey gets on the board.
Oh, stop. Do they really? Yes, they do. Ooh, slot shot.
Slot shot. Yeah, you're just a couple of seconds behind me, it sounds like.
That is just symbolic as well as fact, Erica. That is.
Stop. Oh, I love that pass, though. Going low to high. And this is what I was talking about. I went on a rant, and Kimmel. I didn't expect to go on a rant about the Stanley Cup Finals, given the Seattle Kraken are nowhere near the finals this year. But puck movement, this is case in point.
Yep.
Chris Driedger, and we just kind of I was talking about shots from deep, but when you can take the eyes away, when you are making a goaltender react and have to move, especially laterally in short succession, that is going to bring success offensively more often than not. And you just really have to give credit to the Hershey Bears there. They pull that puck down low. I think technically they were just above the goal line, but then you have a streaking player that finds the slot. On the offensive side, that's exactly how you want to play hockey. Yep. On the defensive side, I saw the replay, but I was focused more so on the pass. Now we know on Locked On Kraken, I will watch that again, and I'm going to be looking at where the defensive players, and at that point, when you're in your zone, you're in their defensive zone, all of the players are defensive players. The way that there was so much space in that slot, I'm thinking they lost their assignment.
Somebody lost somebody. Yep.
That's how a shot like that happens. But again, when you play high-low, I mean, that's very much a basketball term, but I've been watching a lot of WNBA today. But I mean, it's the same thing in hockey, that you want to pull the attention. It's human nature. You follow the puck, right?
Right.
But if you pull the puck low and then you create an opportunity for someone to streak, that's classic. And then absorb the contact, stay strong on your stick, on your feet, on your skates, and get a good shot up. Make Driedger go lateral. So, but we've seen this before. The Firebirds were down early in the first period in game 1. And they try. That was a nice pass there, nice feed, but Shepherd read it beautifully. Again, good idea, but Shepherd saw that whole play right in front of him, as opposed to Driedger, who had to look behind, and then now he has a blind spot. That's where your defense has to protect far post. All right, so we've got Shots on goal 5-4, it's saying right now in favor of the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Looks like, I don't see an arm up, but it looks like Hershey was calling for a penalty there along the boards on the near side of your screen, at the bottom of your screen, bottom left.
Definitely some righteous indignation from the crowd as well.
Indeed, indeed. I haven't forgotten your other comment, Striatic. You know I was going to ask about it. We talked to JD about the spoons. So we
What
got
does JD have to say?
Well, JD actually talked a lot about our mascot, our Firebirds mascot, Fuego, and just the trolling and the fact that Fuego got blocked by the Admirals.
We take zero. We take zero.
Oh, nice pass there. But good job by Hershey. I like, I'm always gonna admire good defense. That was a really good lead pass there by the Firebirds, and a great recovery by the Bears. They're showing the replay. Always good to get that first goal, especially in front of a home crowd. But I liked, just to finish this thought, I liked the defensive assignment there. Now, easily the Bears could have been pulled wide, but you saw that the defensive assignment went body to body as soon as possible. Sometimes, depending on where you are in time and space, you might give a little bit more leeway with gap control, especially if you have another player. But I thought they really did a good job making a snap judgment, going body to body, and pushing the Firebirds out wide so they couldn't get a more direct shot on net. But okay, we have a commercial break, so let's go. Let's talk about it. What are your thoughts on the silver spoon controversy?
Okay, now I'll be honest with you. I want to put this out there because I feel like it's so important. The player who said this is Spencer Stasny, is the player who said this. Now, on Locked On Predators, my co-host Emma and I we went through and did player superlatives. Spencer Stasny, young defenseman, played some time in the NHL. His superlative was most likely to do Emma's taxes, because that gives you context over the fact that there is literally nothing about Spencer Stasny that is interested in stirring drama. He is the least likely professional athlete in perhaps all of sports history to try to stir a pot, no pun intended. No pun intended. But I do feel like there is a perception between a team that is in Milwaukee and a team that is in California, a team that is relatively newer, a team that is more blue collar kind of thing. But all in good fun. And look, Coachella Valley took it and ran with it, and good for you. But I just wanted to put out there, had a player like Zachary LaRue said that, I was like, shots fired. But sweet Spencer Stasny, who was a film studies major at Notre Dame, who is just,
that just warms your little heart.
He is goodness and light, and truly the least likely to want to create any sort of drama. And I am sure he was like, dang it. Yep. They took it and they ran with it. But yeah. Ooh, what do we got going here?
Oh,
3-on-2.
Yeah. Oh, two bites at the apple.
Yep.
Oh. Wait, hold on. Okay, I'll let you catch up. We got some back and forth here.
Yep.
I'll tell you, so that chance for the Firebirds, it looks to me, it's kind of weird also, like, watching a game and commenting like in real time. Because I do. I've done this as an analyst, but usually, like, the camera's not on me, so I don't have to worry. I'm making like all kinds of gruesome faces. But it looked to me, and like, the Firebirds are doing a pretty good job, standing up Hershey as they try to enter the zone. You've seen that Hershey's kind of shot some pucks into the body of the Firebirds as that first line of defense there, which has given them some breakaway opportunities. We saw the shorthanded opportunities. So they're not really letting Hershey carry the puck through, even right there. They're not getting deep into the zone all that often. So Hershey's going to have to figure that out. That's more of playing the width of the ice to me. Sometimes you even just got to, dump and chase, chip and charge, whatever your tickles your fancy there.
Yep.
You might have to do a little bit of that because they're not just going to be able to carry it through from a defensive side. On the Firebird side, I love that.
Yeah.
Because you can see that they're getting aggressive, but Hershey, I think, also is starting to adjust. They're making a few extra passes trying to get through the neutral zone here. They're doing, yeah.
I want to give a shout out just from the not necessarily Firebirds perspective, but a player to keep an eye on when it comes to Hershey, a player that I know Milwaukee Admirals fans are keeping an eye on, number 15, Jimmy Huntington for the Hershey Bears, played last year for the Milwaukee Admirals. Great young man, ended up this season, of course, with the Hershey Bears. So that's a player, as I'm watching this, I'm checking to see, hey, where's Jimmy Huntington? He just finished a shift. So
yeah.
Little connection back to our Admirals.
Look at that. All right. So it makes it even harder to.
I know. Then I'm like, well, I really liked him. Darn it. But then you want to be the team that loses to the eventual champions because there is a slight comfort in that. Yeah.
Shane Wright, good to see him back on the ice. I know Striatic said he might have been involved again. I'll have to watch the play again. I want to wind it back just to see how Hershey was even able to get that puck down low, because I think for the most part, more often than not, Firebirds, woo!
Oh man.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to see that again. Now, it was definitely a flick of the wrist flair for dramatic save there.
Yeah.
But it looked like it might have also been on its way wide anyway, but
I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the flair and the flash.
Absolutely. Oh, I was totally that kind of player when I played baseball, especially. So there's a baseball player, old timer, Willie Mays. And the reason I know Willie Mays, honestly, is because as a kid, people would be like, "Oh, you're doing the Willie Mays out there," and I'm like, I don't know who that. Like, I don't know who that is. I don't know what you're telling me. I was like, I'm just playing the game. But Willie Mays would have this amazing way of tracking. He was an outfielder, of tracking a ball, tracking a ball, and he's just running. And at the absolute last second, it's just like, and he just catches it.
So at the time, you're like, oh, that Willie Mays guy is doing an Erica Ayala.
Right. I was like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to like run with my hand out. That doesn't make any sense. You put it out there when you can get it. So that felt like a Willie Mays type save to me. You're just kind of.
Yes. Just kind of snag it at the last second.
It's all about the flair. Now, was I doing it on purpose? No. I mean, and then I can't say that once it got brought to my attention, I wasn't like, oh, I bet that kind of does look cool.
And if so, continue.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, here we go. Is Hunter Shepard going to do this to the Birds again? I mean, JD and I talked about this. I thought JD, he was underselling, in my opinion, Hunter Shepard. He felt that he's a little undersized and, that maybe it was more so that he's keeping his team in the game as opposed to him kind of stealing some from the Firebirds. But as far as I'm concerned, that's all you need. It worked.
Let me tell you, as somebody who covers the Nashville Predators, who, if talking about an undersized goaltender was a drinking game in a national broadcast, you would be unconscious in the second intermission. What you need is, it does help to have a walrus in net, but if you don't have one, but you have somebody who is great laterally, whose edge work is great, you don't necessarily need size.
Oh man, I love that you said walrus. Are walruses, generally speaking, are they hairy animals?
They are. I actually got to meet a walrus at SeaWorld, and I'm not going to lie, Erica, it was one of the greatest moments of my life, and I have had children and been married. I'm just going to keep it real with you. It was incredible.
Oh man. Wait, walruses, they had like the
They have
tusks,
the
right?
tusks. Yeah, they have
Okay,
the
they have
tusks.
so they're like big, how shall we say,
It's like a seal on steroids.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're the big seals. They're the
Yes,
big toothed seals.
correct. They do have a good stash.
Exactly. I thought so. I was like, I feel like there's, you know how you have the penguins that have like the brows?
Yes,
Okay, so the walruses
have
they
the
have
stash.
okay. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for that. All right, cool. I was like, I thought because I was like, I don't think they're hairy everywhere, but it's like pronounced. Like a lion has a mane, a walrus has a stash.
There you go. There you go. This is like Kratz creatures mixed with AHL hockey, and I'm here for all of the moments.
I freaking love it. All right, let's see. What are they? It's looking like they're giving us the Hershey. They're giving us the Hershey feed, which makes sense. Fox 43 in Hershey, PA. You know, I've never been to Hershey, PA. Well, that's not true. I have been to Hershey, PA because I've been to Hershey Park. But I was young. I don't remember it very often. It used to be like one of those school trips, you know, that
Right.
my elementary school would go to because Hershey Park is like a water park or something. But apparently all of Hershey actually smells like chocolate, just like, you know, like someone's making pudding at all times.
Can you imagine? I grew up in Pennsylvania and have never been to Hershey.
Oh,
I've
wow.
never been to Hershey, which
So
is
Hershey's
insane.
Eastern. It's Eastern.
Central
Oh,
Eastern,
Central.
yeah.
Okay.
And I
Central.
was Northwestern.
Okay, there you go. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, all right, because it's
Yeah.
like close enough to New York for us to do field trips, but I was like,
Yeah.
it's not like Philly close.
No. Yeah. It's like, Central Easternish.
Hershey Park, low key the bomb. I mean, I have never gone as an adult. I don't know that I have reason to do that, but
Locked on crossover.
there you go. There you
In
go.
Hershey.
In Hershey. Although,
Hershey.
you know, we're not doing the chocolate. There was a chocolate ban at Acrisure Arena last year. Ooh. Oh.
Okay, you got to stop making those noises when I'm behind. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. Now I know why you made that noise.
Yeah, well, I figure it's maybe like just let everyone experience it on their own.
Yeah, that was a great opportunity. Great pass. Just hop the tape. Man.
Yep.
Those are the ones you want. Those are the opportunities you want.
And you can see Hershey. This is going to be a physical series. I like how both teams are really pushing bodies into the boards. That's how it should be. And you know, that's hockey, right? That's hockey, baby. And that gets a little frustrating. Oh, okay.
Oh, now I see. And again, got a penalty here. Got a penalty here.
Got a penalty. Got a little bit too much of the skate. I thought it looked like a clean takeaway at first.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the call. I would also not have been mad if they didn't call it.
Yeah. I would like to see a replay on that one because it was a quick one.
Yeah. I know. Melanson almost had a golden chance there. Some really great opportunities there for the Firebirds. Okay, I want to go back since we're at a commercial break again. Let's go back to Spoongate. I think I still have, do I still have the Fuego photo? This is the one. This is the one.
Oh, I saw that.
Big old spoon.
Big old spoon. Big old spoon.
I mean, Fuego is related to Bowie, who is an actual troll. So there you go.
Yes. Just want to throw it out there since we're on the Spoongate Milwaukee Admirals topic. This week on Locked On Predators, we are actually interviewing Kimberly Bates, who is the social media manager for the Milwaukee Admirals, to talk about the Milwaukee Admirals season, to talk about the role, to talk about the back and forths. If you all want to come with your polite pants on, we'd love to have you.
Wow. You know what? We might have to tune in there. I mean, I
Because
would
it
love
was
to know.
spicy, y'all. It was
I would
spicy.
love to know like what goes over the top, and you're like, you know what, mascot, you're gonna sit this one out. You're gonna sit this one out. I want to know. I want to know. All right. So y'all gotta, on behalf of Locked on Kraken and Firebirds fans, if it makes it into the rotation of questions, we won't be mad.
Okay. Hey, look,
We
I
won't be
will
mad.
ask. I will weigh in.
We'll put it- we'll put it on
I
record.
will ask the hard-hitting questions.
I believe you will. I believe
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna come for that one. Let's go.
Come on.
Oh, score. It's 1-0 right now, Chris, in favor of Hershey. Really great shot from the slot, from down low, able to beat the Firebirds 1-0. We are at they're on the Hershey right now is on the power play, and on my clock we're at 4:46 left in the first.
Okay, you're about 8 seconds ahead of me.
Yeah, I was like, we're pretty close. Sometimes it gets a little wild, you know?
Yeah. I will say this as I watched the PK for Coachella Valley. When I watched them, one of the things that they were so great at against Milwaukee, and Milwaukee, hot and cold on the power play. They were pretty darn good on the power play when they were on their 20-game win streak. But they really shut down any sort of in close opportunities, and they are great with their sticks breaking up anything cross ice. And Milwaukee had some guys in the circles that they really liked to get the puck to, and Coachella Valley really limited those opportunities for them throughout that series. So
yeah, I
high
mean,
five to them for that.
they play a defensive style that I love and appreciate. They take care of business in the zone. That's not something we could say, in my estimation, that they did last year. I think if anything, how some people say defense fuels my offense. You'll hear it in basketball. You'll hear it in hockey. No, that was not the Firebirds last year. They were like all gas, no brakes. They wanted to go one way, and they were like, oh, I guess we'll skate this way too. No. And I think that they're taking a lot more pride in their defense. And this is a topic, Anne, that I keep broaching because, like, I'm hoping my auntie vibes will give me an indication of what I want to happen will be the thing that happens. But JD was on the show, and he said a part of that discipline, especially on the defensive side, coming from the assistant coaches, Stu Bickle
and
Jessica Campbell.
Let's go.
And Jay Leach took a job with the Bruins. So now not only do we have one, we have two assistant coaching roles vacant for the Kraken. I'm just saying.
Interesting.
I'm just saying. And I talk about this all the time. I have a deep respect for analytics. I mean, other than you and probably JD at this point, and y'all, we consider part of the Locked On family. The most recurring guest that we have, is Allison Lucan.
She's incredible. Come on now.
Allison Lucan, amazing.
She's she's brilliant.
And that's data-driven storytelling, the whole vibe. But I'll tell you what, there's one specific category of advanced analytics that burns my grits. Oh, hold on. Okay. All right, we're clear. And that is predictive analytics for defense. How do you just type in a formula and you're like, this is why a team is good because we predict that they're going to stop this many, and if they reach that number that we randomly predicted, then that means they're good at defense. And I'm like, I know Shakira said the hips don't lie, but the eyes don't lie when it comes to defensive.
Right. Effort. Is it me, or is there just no other great way to quantify defense?
That's exactly it.
And for it being such an integral part of teams to be successful and to win Stanley Cups, to win Calder Cups, how in the world can't we figure out a way? And I agree with you. I think at some point it has absolutely got to be eye test, because I love the quote, and I think it was Andy Rooney that said, "Stats don't lie; they just don't always tell the truth."
Hey, there you go. That's what
And
I'm
I,
saying.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And it's the best we have. And Allison has said this on the podcast because again, we've had her on a bunch of times. It's the best we have. But when you're talking about defensive stats, you can only do so after the fact, and even then, it's not great because
Right.
you can't tally in all cases the absence of something.
Very true. Right.
Unless we were able to, I don't even know if this is possible or if this makes sense, but if someone was able to tell me like how much space a team leaves between the first forward in that F1,
Mhm.
like because I think that would be measuring effectively what I was talking about earlier, gap control, right?
Right.
So if you could measure gap control, like if they could in real time, they put all these little squiggly lines and blah 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 on the screens. Measure that for me. Okay?
On.
Come on, give me a little line and then measure it out just like they taught us how to read a map in school. Take out your little ruler and then show me those kinds of things. But again, those are not, you can't do that. It would be difficult to do in real time, maybe not impossible, but there's still things that you have to wait to see what happens before you can analyze if it was successful defense or not.
Right.
But if you're telling me, oh, well, they saved more goals than expected, but like, what if the goals than expected was full?
Oh, she's
Ooh.
it's coming. Hershey Bear's coming with a breakaway.
Ooh.
Oh. Hey, Chris Drieger.
Look at this opportunity. Oh, man.
Oh, thank you, Chris. You are preaching. Wow.
And Evans got absolutely caught with his
Ooh.
pants down. And then you see who is that? I'm pretty sure that's McCormick who comes and had to be careful there. You got to put something on him.
Yeah, you got to tie something up.
You gotta, and he was even, I thought so. I was like, that has to be a penalty. I was just about to say, like, I don't understand if
Was
they
that
don't.
a flash? Yep.
Yeah, had to be. And do you take that? Absolutely. Do you take that?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
There are very few, I always joke on our show. I say there are no snacks in the sin bin. Stop going there. But there are a couple penalties that you take every time.
Absolutely.
Every
And
time.
one of them. That's one
Yep.
of them.
Yep.
Even if just to rattle the stick just enough to make the shooter uncomfortable,
Yep.
you do it.
Yep.
You're not going to, you're not trying to, break his wrist a la Mighty Ducks cake eater. You're not trying to do that, but you gotta, at that point, I
You
don't
got to
even
do
know.
something. You got to interrupt somehow.
Dabble and throw it at him. I don't know. You got to do something. That's what I like to call a professional foul.
Yes.
Or a penalty because we're talking hockey. But
just 57 seconds left where I'm at on 4-on-4. How do you think Coachella Valley is going to do with a little bit more space, Erica?
I think that I like them with a little more space. I think they've been able to disrupt, talking about gap control, they've been able to disrupt Hershey. And so if they play how they can play aggressive on a forecheck here, they should be good. That being said, a part of what has led them to having that success is something that Hershey's going to also have more of, is space, right? They have been swarming and smothering, and you just have one less person to occupy space there. And you've started, I said it even before that last opportunity, that Hershey was starting to figure out the pressure, but here we go. I'm not in love with that pass. I don't know what we were doing there.
Oh, okay.
I think you got to pull that back out. Like that was just, yeah, that was a little odd. I think it was, like
either that or shoot that shot if you can, because you've got somebody going to the net.
Exactly. I didn't like that. Who was that? Let me see. That was Cam Hughes. Cam Hughes. A little passive there. Yeah. That was what our ECHL head coach and GM Tato had him on the show a bunch. He's such a great mind. Love having him on. But he said, I really want our team, and poor Mavericks couldn't get it done this year, got to the final. But anyway, he's like, I want my team to minimize hope plays, HOPE. And I was like, I think I know what you mean, but like break that down for me. What's a hope play? He's like, well, maybe like predictive defensive stats. Don't do something because you hope that it's going to yield a result. I want you to do so with confidence. And that's like, blind passes, where
Yes.
it's kind of swinging around or, things like that. He's like, yes, exactly. He's like, I want to minimize hope plays. That seems a little more like a hope play to me from Cam Hughes.
Yeah.
Just like, I kind of hope this gets through the two defenders that are right in front of me to the middle.
Yeah.
That wasn't a good pass.
That was not my fave.
Not my fave. I want to be a goalie like Shepard. Oh,
that's sweet. I would like to have his hair.
It's flowing. I gotta see like a full picture. I feel like maybe we talked about this, but I'm not remembering because he doesn't.
Yeah,
Firebirds,
we did. But I would like to see it with the helmet off.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Okay, Striatic, not a horrible road period. Needs to stay out of the box. Yup. Before I realized Ann was in the in the waiting room, we were talking about Bob Condor he's our writer for NHL.com/Kraken. And this is exactly what he was talking about. This is, a road barn, Hershey fired up. They made a comeback in game one. So you knew you're going to have to manage this. And a part of that is, again, what we were talking about, managing as much as possible 5-on-5 play. I guess there was a 4-on-4 opportunity there, but, not a true opportunity on the power play yet for the Firebirds.
Yeah.
So Riker owes Chris a snack on that.
And something good.
Yeah, make it a good one.
Yeah. Don't come around with them good and plenty and act like you've said thank you.
That's hilarious. Let's see, who are they interviewing? Oh, I don't know who that is. Also, like the bottom line for NHL Network is cutting off some of what.
Thank you. I'm like, could we see it?
Can we not? Like, I don't know. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, Chris Drieger snacks. Now this might be a little bit too heavy for in between periods, but there was a Drieger sandwich. The Driegs.
No kidding.
Yeah, it seemed pretty involved. There was a maple syrup something meat. I gotta look it up. I can't remember. I know that our good friend JD did try it, but a Drieger sandwich. Yeah.
A Drieger. Okay, now I'm fascinated. Maple syrup on a sandwich.
Yeah,
this one.
You know how you've got like cracked peppermill turkey or something, kind of like coat the turkey or something like that. It was something like that, but he made sure that he wanted to get something maple, something Canadian in there. Okay. Let's see it. And it's also like panini style. So it's pressed.
Ooh,
which I love.
Okay.
Yeah, the Australian Wagyu. Is that how you say it? Wagyu?
I don't know. How do you say that? I am not that fancy.
It's a pastrami, a fancy pants pastrami.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. It's got All right, Australian. I'm just gonna say pastrami.
Yep.
Canadian caramelized onions, sauerkraut, deli mustard, provolone cheese, which is underrated in my estimation.
100%.
Smoked chipotle maple syrup dippings. That's what it is. That's actually, I thought it was kind of on the meat. That sounds even better than I thought. I misremembered.
You lost me at sauerkraut and chipotle.
See, I like a little chipotle, but I can get with that. Sauerkraut, I do not eat on its own.
I don't eat it even if I'm very hungry. I don't even stay in a house where it's cooking, friend.
Fair. That's fair. Sauerkraut to me is it's not my favorite, but I can get down with it. Get down with it.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's a good sandwich though. Like if you're going to have a sandwich named after you, you got to feel pretty good about yourself when you read that menu. Come on now.
Apparently it was delicious. It looks amazing. Let me see if I can pull up the photo really quick. Let's see. Oh. Okay.
Well, now.
Okay.
Well, now,
The
fancy.
dipping sauce in the corner.
Yeah.
The Drieger.
The Drieger.
That's going to get you where you got to go.
Oh, it's going to make you go. It's going to get you where you need to go. Yes, ma'am, it is.
Oh, man.
That's fancy.
Now, where's the Potsy? So, Andrew Podorowski apparently connected Drieger and the rest of the Firebirds to this sandwich place.
Yeah.
And so now that's what we're waiting on. I feel like if they win,
Get a sandwich.
Babies Marche and Indian Wells. So I feel like we got to get the pots. It's got to be something. It's got to be something served with a spoon, though, because Potsy's he's the guy who came with the big spoon to the press conference.
Do we need to?
I think we do. I think it's got to be something that's served with a soup,
Yeah. Okay.
or something. Oh, this is an interesting question. Okay, I'm not in New York anymore, obviously, at least not full time. But do we think the Kingsbridge Armory will ever get a PWHL or AHL team to play in it? First of all, is it even done? This thing has been for years. Since the beginning of the NWHL in 2015, they've been trying to get this project off the ground. I genuinely do not know where we are with it. I'm going to have to look it up. I'm going to Google it while we're in the intermission break. I mean, it would solve so many problems. And I talk on Locked On NHL for our women's hockey spotlight that the PWHL, New York, New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut team, terrible. And they ended up playing their last few games in New Jersey because anyone who knows anything about how things work in the tri-state area, which is considered New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, there are no good options outside of MSG and Prudential Center to play a professional hockey game. And James Dolan is terrible. So I would not wish that upon anyone. We saw what he did to the New York Liberty, so I'm not advocating for that. So in theory, yeah, that would be a great location. A lot of hockey fans did not like how hockey looked at Barclays, but Barclays Center, of course, is where the New York Liberty plays, so there could be some synergy there. Joe and Clara Wusai actually own Barclays Center now. They're the owners of the New York Liberty. But yeah, if the Kingsbridge Armory is actually up and running, now the thing is, you run into, of course, in a place like New York City, like how much is it going to cost? What is the ice time going to cost? A lot of the ice time for some of the you don't have a lot of colleges playing hockey in the area, which could be another opportunity, but you've got then rec leagues that pay I don't even know what families pay for rec leagues these days. But then you got to figure, if you're a business person, am I going to make as much money as I would with these rec teams if I then give up this ice for practices, for events, and then of course for games? So oftentimes, more often than not, we're still living in a world where for both the AHL and for women's sports, people don't want to take that risk.
Yep.
So I don't know. I would love to see it. I think it makes too much sense, which is probably why we won't see it.
Yep. You said the quiet part out loud. Good job, Erica.
Oh, see, it's not even done. They've been working on this since before 2015. But again, there's I can't remember all of it right now. I'll have to look it up. But there's a lot of politics that have been surrounding this project, which is really unfortunate. And they just haven't been able to get it across the finish line. Oh, see, I think they announced a new group to pick a time and make a plan sometime, but there's a new group in charge and that also hasn't made any decisions yet. Yeah, I don't know. There's just and armories, especially in the Northeast, I'm sure and even in PA, they're these massive places where they host track events there. Yeah. Usually they're really a good size, you can make something work. Now they're not going to be a 20,000 seat arena size, but they'll get you where you got to go as far as the facilities to be able to host, an ice hockey team. You might have to limit what your ticket sales would be, just because there's not usually in an Armory, unless they redid it, there won't be a lot of seating.
Right. I'm on a crusade right now. The World Para Ice Hockey is looking for places to host world championships coming up in the near future. And I'm like, hey, Nashville, step up.
Heck yeah.
Put in the small amount of little details that you would have to change at Bridgestone Arena to make it ready to compete for, for international para ice hockey, and let's get it here. But I'm not sure why nobody has picked up on that yet, but I've been tweeting it.
All right. I mean, we'd love to see it. We would love to see it.
So great. So great.
Man. All right. So the Firebirds trail the Hershey Bears 1-0. Hockey players love playing in Nashville. I mean, the NWHL had a all-star game in Nashville. I had a great time. I was on that broadcast. That was, I think, my third all-star game for the NWHL on the broadcast. And we had an all-woman broadcast. So it was me and Kelly Schultz. And wow, why did I just blank? This is really bad. I'm so out of it. Okay, she's legendary women's hockey broadcaster, radio broadcaster for the New Jersey Devils. First woman. She started as a beat writer and then was on the radio. Oh my gosh, this is really bad. Hold on. Now I'm gonna look it up because now radio. Sherry Ross. That's it. Oh man. Okay. I'm sorry, Sherry. I don't know why I just blanked on Sherry Ross. I kept wanting to say Sonia Shelley, but that was a goalie in the league. And I was like, that's not right. Sherry Ross. It was Sherry Ross, Kelly Schultz, and I on that broadcast.
Yeah.
And that's so that was amazing. My assignment was I got to be between the benches.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. That's fantastic.
I got to be between the benches, which was super cool. And I saw them throw the catfish. They did the lineups for the All-Star game. And it was Kendall Coyne Schofield, who has been in the news, maybe a little controversially. We'll talk about that maybe if we have time. But Kendall Coyne Schofield was the player who was first to kind of try and push the catfish off the ice and made the mistake of going straight in with the stick.
No.
Got guts, fish guts on my stick for the rest of the game.
Yep. It's so funny in Nashville when they hosted their first game in the first round against the Vancouver Canucks. It was raining catfish.
Oh my!
There's 9 catfish coming up over the boards. And what is so great is that the skate crew has it down to a science. And I can't decide, are you at the top of the pecking order to get to go out and clean up the catfish, or is that hey, rookie?
Yeah, interesting.
Go get the catfish.
Interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Oh, we have another question for you. Feeling in Nashville regarding the Ekholm trade now that he's in the Stanley Cup Final again. Missing him or nah? We're good with the pick.
Let me tell you something. This is what I do anytime I talk about Mattias Ekholm. I cross myself because he was my personal gateway drug in hockey. He was my gateway drug.
Oh,
such a great question. I would say across the board, very beloved player. And that was a hard trade for everybody. So I would say across the board in Nashville, the feeling is they want Ekholm to lift the cup. Across the board, I would say that very beloved, zero hard feelings. It was an interesting trade. Predators got Tyson Barrie. They also got Reed Schaefer, who was a first-round pick for Edmonton, who played this season with the Milwaukee Admirals. And so Coachella Valley, you all saw him in the Western Conference Finals as well. And he has been an interesting AHL pickup. Tyson Barrie, not a lot of time on the ice. Very big, healthy scratch this year. Lots of drama, big, healthy scratch. He's a UFA. He'll be moving on. But a lot of draft picks. So I think everybody likes that with where the Nashville Predators are as far as resetting. So a lot of draft capital. But Reed Schaefer, that's an interesting AHL player. Again, first round pick for Edmonton. They got in that Ekholm deal. That's somebody that I think people are sort of keeping an eye on to see, like, hey, is this going to be a guy who's going to be able to come up, in a 2 seasons maybe, and make an impact in Nashville. So there are parts of that trade I think people are still waiting to see. What are they going to do with the draft capital? Where is Reed Schaefer going to end up, playing a part for the Nashville Predators? But across the board, and especially in the depths of my heart,
the depths
of my heart, I and most all of Nashville want to see Ekholm lift that Stanley Cup. He is beloved here.
Wow.
Beloved.
Yeah. I mean, that goes to like all of the feels, right?
That was the worst one for me. I thought if you traded anyone and took my heart with you, it was, the Swede, because I grew up in a predominantly Swedish area. My first hockey game, I thought they were all Americans. That's how little I knew about hockey at my first hockey game. Yeah. And I saw his picture and saw they listed, and I was like, there's a Swede. Who knew? Well, okay. Not as shocking when you've been around the NHL, but for your first game, you're like, there's a Swede. So yeah, no, my gateway drug.
I get you.
Miss him terribly. His wife also brilliant sportscaster.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to look at these stats here real quick. Power plays away for Coachella Valley. 3 of 23. Not what you want to see there. I mean, only 6 of 25 at home, I guess. But, they went 0 for 4 in game 1. I don't think we've had a full power play in this game yet because there was a 4-on-4. So
correct.
Something happened. So that's we did see the shorthanded opportunity. So you like that. And you got to be able to, be effective on both sides of special teams, arguably, especially when you have the advantage. So, that's something that we want to, here we go. Best beard in the NHL?
Can I tell you, I will say, hands down,
yes,
it is immaculate. It looks a little bit off, like it is not as kempt. So I'm like, okay, he gets credit for a playoff beard because it's not as perfectly kempt as it usually is. But yes, 100%. Let's nominate him. Let's take a vote. The ayes have it. It's Ekholm.
I love that. Oh yeah. So I talked a little. I was saying Edmonton games 1 and 2, especially. I think I was talking between or before game 3. I don't know what was happening offensively for them through the first 3 games.
Nothing.
Not a darn thing. And then all of the offense in game 4. I mean, I have a theory. It's unproven at the moment, but I'm gonna say it's true for now until proven otherwise. Who was at the game 4?
Who?
Sarah Nurse.
I saw her, and was she not pumped when Darnell scored? Come on now.
Like, I wish my cousins would hype me like that,
Yep.
I really do. So for those who don't know, which I don't know how. But anyway, if you don't know, Sarah Nurse plays hockey.
Brilliant.
At Wisconsin. Oh, brilliant. Played at Wisconsin, played for PWHL Toronto. Plays for PWHL Toronto. And she has younger brothers, but Darnell and Kia Nurse are her immediate cousins. And Darnell is the brother of Kia Nurse, who plays in the WNBA. And she plays right now for the LA Sparks. So Sarah Nurse was with, I think it was her dad. I think she was sitting next to her dad.
I wondered about that.
I'm pretty sure that was her dad. Roger is her dad's first name, I'm pretty sure. and they were watching Darnell, and she was so freaking hype. But I mean, why wouldn't you be? What was how many goals did they end up with? I stopped counting at like 6.
8.
So
It was the touchdown 2-point conversion.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Let's go. Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, that was some serious offensive production, but the game opened up for them, and that's exactly what Edmonton wants to play. They want to play a more open game, I think.
Yep. And you do it, you stave off elimination, you do it in your own barn. That's momentum. You know, we used to have a head coach in Dave Haxel who didn't believe that momentum shifted from game to game. I think maybe in the Stanley Cup Finals it does.
I think there are a lot of different rules in the Stanley Cup Final.
Oh,
a lot of different things about playing for the cup, for sure.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Also, I think it's so funny that, but like I always say finals because I grew up mostly watching basketball, but in hockey we say final. And I actually kind of I mean, there's only the one final. It's the one final series.
Yeah.
Like, final, you know, like
I know, but then don't play 7 games, man. You're killing me.
Yeah. Well.
But at this point, take it to 7 because I'm not ready for the hockey drought.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm here for 7 games in the NHL and 7 games in the AHL.
I love it. Well, I don't know about in the AHL.
Yes, that's true. It's easier for me to say go to 7 than it is for the Coachella Valley Firebirds community to say go to 7. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what's happening? Oh,
there it is.
And there it is.
Whoop, there it is. That was beauty.
That was a beauty
shot. Oh man, just time.
Who is that? Who is that?
Shoots it. That is
John Hayden.
Is it Hayden again?
I don't know. I couldn't tell.
Oh, is that 10 or 11? I can't.
I think it's 10.
I think you're right. My I don't know. It's a little choppy sometimes on my end.
Yeah. So, what a great shot. My goodness.
Yeah, that was solid. That was, you know, just kind of creating space, deking the defense just enough. And I like it. I like it. I love it.
He gave Milwaukee fits. If that was John Hayden, he gave Milwaukee.
I can't remember. I'll be honest. I don't know all of the numbers. There's like a few that I know off the top of my head, and 10 is not one of them.
Yeah.
John Hayden is 15.
Nope. Then nope, it's not. Who was that?
It is why am I like, hold on, I'm looking it up. I don't have a roster in front of me. And another penalty?
Another power play. You want to talk about a big momentum shift right here for Coachella Valley.
Was that Henman? Luke Henman. Look at that. Luke Henman. I like it. Yeah, Hayden's 15.
Okay. Yeah, John Hayden burned us. I will not forget his name.
I will always remember.
I will remember your name. He lives he's just gently tucked in my invisible backpack of hockey grudges. Just barely tucked in there.
Gently
placed.
Gently placed there. I like it.
Yes.
Oh man.
All right, let's see what they can do here. This is a great opportunity for Coachella Valley if they can get something going here.
Luke, what a great individual play. I'm trying to see if they've scored it yet, because he carried the puck for a while. I didn't see if he brought it in or if someone passed it off to him.
I would like that replay.
Just nice. But yeah, Hershey, to me, they play a little bit deeper in their defensive zone, and I'm trying to decide how much of that I think is from the Firebirds versus how much I think that they just they give a lot of space up top, and wide. They
great puck movement there. I'm behind y'all, but it was great. What y'all saw about 8 seconds ago. They got them scrambling. Yeah.
Oh, right. I'm saying. 33 seconds for me left on this power play.
Okay. Yep. So we're 4 seconds apart. We're getting closer.
And closer.
By the end, we're gonna be right on.
Yeah, you might pass me. Who knows? Ooh. I have no idea how this streaming works. Like it's nonsensical. I'm like, why isn't everyone on the same time?
Yeah, it shouldn't be this difficult. Especially I'm watching it on the NHL channel as well. I could have pulled it up on AHL TV and maybe it would be better timed there, but
I don't know. Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm watching it on NHL Network, but through Fubo TV. I still have Fubo.
Okay. You go.
Fubo, yeah, Fubo. Ooh, nice.
Okay, taking it with speed through there. Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, yeah.
Yeah.
Hope play. Ooh. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Oh my goodness. Again, creating some good chances there.
Yeah. I mean, did Shepard maybe make sure that got pushed off? I would have if I were the goaltender.
I mean, if I got it coming around me like that, we talked about it before with Chris Drieger. If you got it back here and you can hear it coming.
Yep. I might have just
pushed.
You
may not know his own strength.
That's what it is. Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
All right.
And if I was the goalie, I'd knock that thing off too, because like, fam, like, can we get the puck back? Can you maybe push it down the other way? All right. I wonder what was said. Like, let's play this game. What was said in the locker room? Let's start with the Firebirds.
Yeah.
Wrong answers only. Be like, hey boys, so we spoke to our fam out in Indian Wells, and if we win this game, everyone gets Dreeks after the game. I'm pretty confident that's what Disco Dan and company said.
I thought maybe what they would say is that, did you hear the Hershey Bears said we had a silver fork?
Oh,
are we going to take that? No, we're not, boys.
No, we are sandwich eaters. We don't even need forks and spoons.
Or a spoon. Why are you coming at us? Yes, as we say down south.
Messy. Yeah, Luke Hedman. Love that for him. His first. I was going to say, I don't think Lukey Luke has been on the... That's why I didn't recognize the number right away.
Yeah.
Luke Hedman.
Great shot.
It really was. Sandwich in the lunch pail.
I love that.
Yes, I love it. Yes.
I love that.
Lots of movement on the Jess Campbell power play, as it is apt, as it should always be called. Thank you very much. Yeah, the power play numbers have been a little sporadic this year. If we're being honest, for the Firebirds, it's been better in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. We love to see it. And I did see Striatic, your comment earlier, like whole staff coming. So JD and I are going to have this conversation. We're going to wait until the end of this series, whenever that may be. But I mean, you and I, Ann, can have it now.
Come on.
Because I'm not, JD obviously wants to very much stay focused on the Firebirds. I've got to focus on the Kraken because we are still at 5 days. Okay. We got a lot to talk about. So 2 vacancies with the Seattle Kraken. Disco Dan's coming. Jess Campbell operates, as Striatic said in the comments, operates the power play.
Yeah.
Also, Dan Bilesma has said he wants the team to play fast. I do think there's a decent amount of speed. I don't think the Seattle Kraken have been able to capitalize on that speed. You know who was a power skating coach? Jess Campbell. Now, here's the thing. It makes almost too much sense for me, right, for Dan Bilesma to bring in Stu Bickle and Jess Campbell. That being said, the Firebirds going back-to-back to the Calder Cup Final.
Right.
If you bring Bickle and Campbell, that means you have absolutely decimated your coaching staff.
Yeah. What are the odds if she were not to come up to the Kraken? And look, I'm with you in the sense that, first of all, just do it.
Mhm.
Just do it.
Just do
Okay.
it.
And here's the thing that I would ask you: is there interest in them in other NHL teams as well? Because they may not end up going up to Seattle, but that does not mean other NHL teams would not pursue them. So I'd be curious to see, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, could the Nashville Predators talk to Jess Campbell?
Whoa,
Because
whoa,
we
whoa,
need
whoa,
help on
whoa,
the power
whoa,
play.
whoa, whoa,
I'm
whoa,
just throwing
whoa,
it out there. I'm
whoa,
making
whoa.
conversation, Erica.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. See, this is why JD didn't want to talk about it during the final.
Yeah, but you kind of have to weigh that out. Okay,
No, I know.
are there only options? Because it sounds like, look, these could, this is a situation where there could be more than one NHL team making some.
Dare
How
you?
dare I'm just throwing it out. I'm just seeing what
How
sticks. But
dare
I'm
you
telling
talk
you,
logic when we are in our fields? That's why JD's like, not talking about it, not talking about it. See, I should have learned my lesson. Should have listened to JD, and then I
listen to
opened up the
JD.
can of worms, and
But
now I regret
Well,
it.
and I'm only putting this out here because there are
I'm joking, but
unconfirmed, I want to stress unconfirmed rumors that the Milwaukee Admirals head coach Carl Taylor has been pursued by some other NHL teams. And this is somebody that people in Nashville want to get up. Oh, I like your face, and I'm waiting to see what happens here. Oh, hey. Oh, wow. Did he save that?
wow, who's there? Number 15, your fave. Oh, what a move by Hayden.
He is the stuff of nightmares.
Oh my gosh. He's
Great
terrorizing
play.
Shepard right here. Look at
Look at
this. He
that.
shoots the shot and then goes.
And it
He's
goes
like,
in.
man.
Okay, that goalie save was the I ate the sandwich with sauerkraut save with the hand behind the backside. Like, he had the Drieger. Like, that is what that save is called.
God, he had the
Oh, that's the Drieger.
Scream. Just hold it. We're almost home.
I do not know how you and I don't have a gig full time in the NHL doing this.
I mean, honestly, fumble in the bag. That's what the NHL does. They fumble the bag.
Fumble the bag. I
Oh
mean,
man. I mean, no, you bring up a really good point, and I've talked to JD about that because here's my thing. As much as I want Jess Campbell, honestly, I think I would be fine as long as she stays in the organization. At the end of the day, you've got to do what's good for you. This is a business, right? And obviously, just Campbell and Bickle and Bilesma, they make a good team.
yeah.
I mean, we're seeing it here. Proof positive. Proof positive. Here with the Firebirds, just like a little bit. There's a little bit more absent-mindedness here with the Firebirds. They got to clean some things up.
Yeah.
Moving maybe a little too fast in certain situations, But it's a fair question, You see it all the time. You see success, and then things kind of get decimated because whether it's players or coaches, that they did their job well enough to get another opportunity that will advance them in ways perhaps that their current situation cannot. And I think that's where I'm hoping that the Kraken have the foresight to have that conversation with Jess Campbell. Does she want a head coaching job? I don't know. Because if she does she stay with Coachella Valley? Is that a chance that she's given? Or Stu Bickle for that matter? I would imagine
That's a great gig.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to take over coaching a team that's been to the Calder Cup Final.
Yeah,
that's a good gig.
That's not bad at all.
No.
It's brand new. They're building a fan base. I also think that we're not in a rebuild. At least that's what the Kraken are saying. And I don't think we necessarily need to be. But if you have a coaching staff that's been able to effectively get this team to where they are, you know, repeated success, which obviously was not the case with the Kraken. I mean, how much do you pay to get that at the NHL level?
Yeah. It's so interesting because there is such a different coaching dynamic in the AHL, just strictly for the reasons that you're talking about. I mean, you're talking about, significant player turnover. You're talking about changing rosters within a season. It's a different beast in a lot of ways. And in some ways, I think may prepare people to coach at the NHL level with a different perspective, to have been in the AHL and the adjustments you have to make in season on the fly kind of thing. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. But here we go. If she doesn't advance in the Kraken, some other team might step up. And I feel like I've said this before. I don't remember if I said it if we were recording, but JD and I did have that conversation.
Mhm.
I feel like I've said before on Locked on Kraken, like I really hope that there's transparency throughout for Stu Bickle, but especially for Jess Campbell, and then let them make the decision that is best for them.
Right.
That's all you really want. But you hear sometimes Vegas Golden Knights that people will let go of, I don't know, like really successful goaltenders and not let them know like what's going on. They find out with the news cycle that they've been traded. Like that's not cool, That's not. I think another thing, again, I've talked about how I've gotten to know Tad O'Had at the ECHL. Very successful season, the most successful season that they've ever had. Very disciplined team. He doesn't let the team get too high or too low. I get to see them when they play in Tulsa, which is awesome. And I know that Tad has bought into and has been waiting for through his entire ECHL career a true pipeline where there is consistency, there is partnership, there is cohesion from ECHL to AHL to NHL. Even things like the Seattle Kraken, everything from social media to phone calls from the GM, assistant GMs saying, hey, good luck in your playoff series.
That's great. Yeah.
And it's kind of sad that that for someone who's been in the game as long as Tad has, that he felt that this is the first time that he was really getting that.
Yeah.
So for me, if I'm looking at it holistically and being able to cover all three teams the most that I've ever done this season, I think the prevailing narrative that I would take if I'm Ronnie Francis and company is to keep as much consistency throughout the pipeline as possible.
Right.
And I think there are ways that they can advance people, keep them in the pipeline, and still put the Seattle Kraken in a position to be much better, because that is ultimately what's going to keep everything else flowing, right? You have to have an NHL team that has that consistency. And right now, the ECHL team has it. They made the postseason 2 years in a row. The AHL team has it. It's the Kraken that needs the help.
Their time is coming, maybe? Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. I think Dan saying his Kraken will play fast. We all need to be ready for that possibly looking ugly at first. I think that's interesting, but what really helps when you have a fast team and there's someone in our organization that knows that all too well, a la Grant Fuhr. You need a good goaltender, or at least one great goaltender, and you need good defenders that will clean up the mess that's happening in front of them. Because you take chances. You take chances when you play a fast forechecking game. It's just like any other sport. When you're bringing, Hunter. Taking shots.
He's got some big feels.
He's got some spice.
Whoa. Your mother saw you do that, buddy.
He's up there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. All right. It's already starting to get a little spice. I think that's going to be interesting. For me, I just think there needs to be a better commitment to the defensive side of things.
Can I jump in on that? Because this is
Yeah.
exactly what the Nashville Predators have been through their first season, because they were really transitioning to a team that's going to play with speed.
Yep.
And where the hitch and the giddy up came
I
was
love
defense and goaltending. You are absolutely
Hello!
right. You are
It's
absolutely right.
almost like I know
That
sports.
it wasn't that offensively they couldn't get going. They could get going and play a fast game, but you have got to get the defense and goaltender
Yep.
ready to be able to cover a multitude of sins as you learn
Yes.
that style of play. And that is where, towards the end of the season, you saw Nashville find success. It wasn't that, ooh, all of a sudden we were skating faster. It was, ooh, all of
Right.
a sudden we realized how to, defend
Hello.
playing a very different style of offense. You are 100% right.
Yeah,
Watched it
because
firsthand.
I
Wasn't
mean,
always pretty.
yeah,
Buckle up.
yeah. Well, and that's real. And again, Hunter, again, I thought JD was a little bit, he wasn't giving as many flowers as he could have to Hunter Shepard, but you got a guy that can clean up things. That's what you need, especially in
Yes.
tight games like this, tight series like this.
Yep.
Another thing that we know, it's literally physics, it's science, right? The harder or quicker something is coming out, shooting out of cannon, shooting off of a stick, if and when it hits something, it's rebounding at a harder, faster
Right.
velocity. So that means juicy rebounds
Yep.
if you give them up. Whoa, whoa. Oh,
Oh,
excuse me.
please.
Excuse me. This is not the dentist's office. Do not grab his jaw.
Whoa.
What is
He's
getting
like putting fingers in mouth. What are we doing here?
like this is unhygienic, first of all.
I mean, literally, there's a part of me that just threw up in my mouth.
Oh man, Shane tried to poke that.
Mm.
Um,
It was
yeah,
there.
yeah, it was there. Cole Lind got mushed, and
Can
then
I tell you, Cole Lind, his younger brother, Kalen, was a draft pick for the Nashville Predators last season. Yes, Kalen. You want to talk about somebody who plays with some spice.
well,
Ooh,
guess it
Kalen
runs in
Lind.
the family.
It must run in the family. Let's all just thank the good Lord for Mama Lind, who had to raise that, because there's a lot of spunk in those boys. Young men, you know what I'm talking about.
I just got the update from another Seattle team in the WNBA. Storm rallies late but falls 87-78 at Phoenix. It's been a little bit of an up and down for the Seattle Storm. But yeah, that's again, and here's my thing. We talked about it earlier. Another reason, selfishly, I would love to see the whole staff come up is because what did they do? They lose in game 7 overtime. Overtime. You're
I feel like, get in the net, get in the net. You got one job. There it is. Yep. You gotta, and that's where you gotta be picking up a guy. Oh, Jimmy Huntington, though, y'all. Jimmy Huntington, baby.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, I mean, hey,
Former
listen.
Milwaukee Admiral.
This is what I see here. Who's telling Drieger behind?
Yes.
Number one. Who's telling Drieger, I got it? Maybe don't do that, sir. I'll handle it. Thank you. And if you're not doing if you're not doing A or B, then haul buns and take over the net.
The net. Yep.
I don't like that. I don't like that. To me, that's a preventable goal. I'm obviously not on the ice. I'm not in the arena. Oh, there go the Drieger eyes. He just gives these like eyes every once in a while. And he does it like literally when he
just saw them. Yep, there they were.
He's very expressive with his eyes. He does that every time he takes a swig of water, but he gave a little extra one. I feel like he's like, oh, what's going on here?
Oh, hey.
Well, to me, should Drieger play that puck? I mean, I don't think that's the most egregious part of it, but there has to be communication. Have to communicate.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's a fault of everyone on the ice.
Yeah, you can't. That's preventable to me. Absolutely preventable. Those are the things that, as I said earlier, that burn my grits. All right. In other Seattle news, the M's sweep the Rangers, 8.5 game lead in the West. You'll love to see it. I have adopted the M's as my other not NHL. That's not real. My other MLB team. I know sports, I promise. I just talk about all of them all the time. Because the Mets are terrible again. It's not anything new, so I can't say I particularly feel some kind of way about it. I'm just kind of used to it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad the M's are doing well. And now that, everyone has the DH, I don't have to be so selective and only go National League. I really don't like the designated hitter rule, but I guess it was inevitable. Didn't the Seattle Rain play today too? I think so. I'll look up that score. Anyway, back to hockey. That's preventable. You either tell your goalie, no, don't you dare.
Yep.
I take it.
Yep.
I take it. Or you gotta, at minimum, you have to let him know someone's streaking right freaking behind him.
Yep.
He's getting ready to play the puck. Where's he looking? Down, likely. You can't have that happen.
And I will tell you just personally, and again, not a goaltender. If you're going to go out and play the puck, you gotta move. You got to get out and get back. Like you can't sit there and plot.
Yeah. Agreed. Drieger obviously thought he had a lot more time. He thought it was a less, high danger situation. And again, to me, at least some of that comes from communication. I'd have to look further ahead in the sequence to be like, Driegs, you probably should have known he was coming. But, life comes at you fast. So do attacking forwards. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, that's a miscommunication to me.
Yeah.
Like however you slice it, that's a miscue.
And those are in a series like this, those are the ones that are going to come back to bite you. You just can't afford those kind of mistakes. You can't.
So it's a 1-goal game, we were tied at 1, you get back and then you give the momentum, back to Hershey, who's at home.
Yeah, and I've heard this arena is a wild place to play.
It seems loud. Yeah, it seems kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And it's also, it's got history. So these are, I know so many people are like, oh, well, Firebirds fans are new. And I don't really play into that narrative because I think let fans be who they're going to be,
Yeah.
Not everyone has to be an Original Six franchise. That being said, anything else, when there's a culture, like the crowd kind of sways at the same rhythm, and that's huge when it comes to games like this. Yeah. Oh, but the other thing I wanted to say regarding that play is that's where Chris Drieger and Joey Decord, that's a clear difference. Joey Dax, very comfortable playing the puck. Sometimes he makes us uncomfortable when he plays the puck, but he's a good puck handling goaltender. Not all goalies are good puck handlers, just like not all pitchers in baseball can hit the freaking ball. Like Tony. Yeah. It's just, but you got to be able to play the full game. I really do believe that in all sports.
Yeah. Nashville had the same thing. Pecorine, fantastic puck handler in net.
Mm-hmm.
UC Saros, not quite there. Yaroslav Askarov, I always joke when he plays, I take Tums because he causes me such gastrointestinal distress with how he comes out of the net to play the puck. And I'm just, I like the optimism of youth, but he makes me nervous. So it's going to be interesting to see how his trajectory develops when it comes to coming out and playing the puck and puck handling. Yeah. It's a whole skill set.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, but I agree with what Striatic is saying. I mean, did I like that? Absolutely not. It's something that you earmark, you get the video team to pull that out for you next time you have film session, but you got to move on. It's still a 1-goal game. We knew it wasn't going to be anything super easy. We knew Hershey's going to bounce back. So now what do you do here? How do you move things ahead? And you just got to communicate more.
Emma and I co-host. She's my co-host, my new co-host. Love her so much.
Woohoo!
You got to come on. You're going to love her, Erica. Emma
Yes.
and I recorded for our tomorrow's episode, and we were talking about, what can Nashville learn from Edmonton and Florida as we watch them battle in the finals. And that was one of those things. It's the maturity of being, as Ted Lasso says, be a goldfish. What do you do after a play like that? What is the next 60 seconds going to be like? What is the maturity? What is the mental recovery? And here's the thing, Coachella Valley, they have gone through a lot. They've got a lot of experience, 2 back-to-back postseasons in understanding what do you do to turn that page real quick.
Yep.
But
Exactly.
that's a maturity thing. That's a thing that comes with having played with a lead or coming from behind or making a mistake. There's a maturity to that. So what you do next matters.
Exactly.
Man. Drop the puck.
We're waiting.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves. I'm like, our lifespans are long, but could you just drop the puck and not waste our time?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I saw this in the chat, so I was like, well,
Huntington.
NHL Network is behind, obviously, because we had someone in the future give us this. I don't know if you had seen the comment.
Yep, I did, and I was like,
oh no. Make it not be true. Wow, look at this speed. Ooh.
It's a great play. That's a tight pass. Let's watch.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, look, it's Jimmy Huntington.
Perfect. That's a perfect pass. And look at that. Kind of mishandles the puck right there, but recovery, amazing.
Yes.
And then what are we doing, defense? What are we doing? Look at this. Hold on. Okay, hold on. That was Olofsson. He went hard into the boards and was already in a bubble. Who is that? Olofsson, and who else? Olofsson was the skater further away and ends up closest to contesting that shot. These are off of the center ice face-off. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is when you really got to start. You really got to start reining it in here.
Yeah.
Because that's bad defense. Olofsson, I didn't catch who was the other skater there.
Looked like 23, but
that's Gustav Olofsson.
Okay, is that Olofsson? Okay.
I'm pretty sure he was the player that ends up closest. But if you saw that sequence, especially when they gave us the goalie, the goal line view, he's cutting from across the ice and gets there quicker than the person who is kind of just letting Hershey streak. You can't do that. You cannot do that.
And again, you've got 2:52 on my clock here left to go. Coachella Valley is going to want to do something to kind of halt the momentum here to go into that third period.
Yeah. You really got to hunker down here. Keep the puck far away from Chris Drieger.
Yeah.
Oh! Good Lord. Okay.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Okay. And see what Hershey, if I remember correctly, they did this last year too, because Firebirds are being aggressive, as they should be, in front of the net. If the whistle isn't blown, and if you see, you go for it. You go for it. But now Hershey is throwing their weight around, which of course is going to frustrate the Firebirds. So they've got to stay poised here. All right, you take your licks in the crease, let it go. Let it go.
Man, you look at the shots on goal difference here, 22-13 in favor of Coachella Valley. They're generating.
Yeah. Just not connecting.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing as sharp as that final pass we just saw.
Oof.
And again, that's what Hershey did last year too. Firebirds let them in, at certain points of the game, and that's all they needed.
Yeah.
They were very efficient. Hershey's an efficient team. They fight hard. They stay to their game plan and to their game. They're not too high, not too low, and they strike at the opportune moment. Better. Ooh, no. I think that was that Hayden that whiffed on that? I think so.
Oh, yeah. Oh man, you want that one back.
Yeah.
You want that one back.
Yeah. So you gotta survive this. I'm at 142 right now.
Yep. 142 here. Hey, look at us.
Yeah. Getting all synced. You gotta really hunker down and survive this. I want stick to stick, body to body on everything.
Yeah. And there's Cole Lind right out there. He'll keep it spicy.
Indeed. I'm gonna.
All right.
I know we're getting quiet here. It's crunch time. Ooh, no.
I know. Get. That's why I don't call games friends.
Just a bunch of noises. What's this here? I have the sound super low, so I can't. I probably should just put the captions on. So I don't know what they called there.
I don't either, but it'd be great if it was. Are we putting someone in the box here? What are we doing?
Trying to see. You know how sometimes they just walk people over super slow. Hey, Lauren from England. Whereabouts in England?
Hey.
I'm headed to the UK a little bit before I go to the Olympics. The USAB teams are playing in London a couple of days before this opening ceremony. So,
what will you be covering at the Olympics?
Mostly basketball, the men's and women's tournament.
Fantastic.
Yes, mostly. Maybe a little football, a little soccer, if I can make it. All right. Oh, into the body. Do my best PA impression. 1 minute remaining.
And here in Nashville, we say, thanks, Paul.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Great chance.
Yep.
It was a good look.
Yep. The finish, just not quite there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, with the exception of Luke Henman, that's got to be the second best goal that we've seen so far.
That was amazing.
They are not, unfortunately. They are not. I want to say they're back in LA. So the host gets to choose. France not very well known for their baseball and softball players, so not completely surprised. The last Summer Olympics was in Japan, so obviously they were going to have those two events. But I'm pretty sure LA is going to have baseball and softball. All right, end of the second, 2-1, and I think we should take a little break, refill our juice,
rehydrate.
Take a little walk, and then we will come back. Let me see. Sometimes I have a little interview or something I can play. I'm going to play a little, see what we have in the archives here. Oh, it looks like I have PWHL New York GM talking. No, we're not going to do that. Also have some New York Liberty clips. Oh, me on talk radio. We're not going to do that either. I don't have my external connected right now. Oh, here we go. Disco Dan Bosma, 1:19. This is Potts talking about Disco Dan and his appointment as soon as it uploads. All right. Not what we wanted to see from the Firebirds perspective. Got to respect, though, what Hershey was able to do. For Liverpool, I have heard of Liverpool. Thank you so much, Lauren. I would be lying if I said I know where Liverpool is in relation to London, because I'm from the United States and we're generally speaking, terrible with world geography.
Yeah.
But I do know that Liverpool exists. Yeah, they have a football team too.
Yes.
Yeah, let us know, what is your origin story. I always love stuff like that. All right, let's hear from Potts, take a little break, and then we'll come back and break this one down. And
Sounds great.
got some work to do.
It's everybody's goal to get to the NHL, and like coaches are no different than us. So really happy for him to get that opportunity. He's led our team the last 2 years. You saw what we did last year, what we're doing this year, and there's a reason for it. He prepares us probably the best I've ever been prepared in my career, and the time and effort he puts in doesn't go unnoticed. We love playing for him. It's been a lot of fun here, so really happy for him to get that opportunity, and I'm sure the guys in Seattle are pretty happy as well.
Very deserving of it. Both last year and this year, the Firebirds have done really well, and he's a big reason for that. So I know everyone down here is really excited for him.
He's earned it. It's well deserved. So, looking forward to having him back tomorrow, though.
The players just love playing for him. Is really the biggest thing. They really, really love playing for him. They respect him. I think one of the best things about Dan is he just brings fun to the rink every day. Every single day the rink is fun, but when he has to be stern, he's stern, and the players respect that, and they take that message and go on, and then, but it's still just a great atmosphere to be in. I think it was really important to Ron and his search for the next coach.
All right, so that was the Firebirds reacting to the announcement that Disco Dan Bilesma would be the new head coach of the Seattle Kraken. I love McCormick in that. I know we talked about it on the podcast, but I love McCormick in that because he's like, hey, really happy for him, but can't wait to have him back and we can get back to business. And that's exactly what Dan has been focused on ever since the announcement. He's like, I'm going to enjoy this time in Seattle. As soon as I touch down back in the Valley, it's back to business. And they got some business to take care of right now as the Coachella Valley Firebirds down 2-1. And have some work to do. Or excuse me, down 3-1. Two goals scored by Hershey in the second frame. 0 for 2 on the power play for the Firebirds. 0 for 3 on the power play right now for the Hershey Bears. So neither team doing particularly well on the power play on special teams. And again, just some missed assignments in my estimation for the Seattle Kraken, which kind of has them in this situation. Now, the good news is these are all things that are fixable, that they can clean up and, do a better job on. And that's exactly what we'd be looking for them to do. So, yeah, I think what I'm going to do is find another video to play so we can take a little bit of an extended break here. I did not close my refrigerator all the way, so it's hissing at me now. So I gotta go close that. I know there are no snacks in the sin bin, but how about in the home? What kind of snacks are you working with?
We are chowing down on the mini mounds right now, friends.
Ooh, mini mounds.
Mini mounds. Greatest mini candy bar out there.
Mini mounds. That's solid. I always like me a mini Milky Way. Won't say
also
no.
A good choice. Or a mini Snickers gets it right too. But
there we go.
Don't give me a mini Hershey's bar. Don't give me that.
Yeah. Well, we're off the chocolate for a little while here in Firebird land.
Yeah. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
Are mounds made by Hershey?
I don't think so.
Let's see. Oh, no, they're made by Peter Paul. So see, it's like a big mounds fan. They're fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not normally a coconut person, but there's something about it's the composition.
That's
like, don't serve me a Reese's King Cup. I want the exact replication of chocolate to peanut butter. Also, double stuff Oreos. What are we doing as a society?
No.
Wrong.
No, it's
Wrong
a no
choice.
for me, dog. It's a no for me.
That's a no for me, dog.
Oh man.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Oh man. They're playing Justin Timberlake in the arena. Oh, I guess he's going to Hershey Stadium on July 4th of all days.
Well,
He was here in Tulsa not too long ago. I was
Yeah.
never a big JT fan, but you know, I sided with Brittany. That's all I'll say.
come on, girl.
I sided with
Girl.
Brittany. Oh
Yeah.
man.
That was my I think that was my Garth Brooks phase. And I'm like, you know, I can't do boy band and Garth Brooks at the same time. Like, I know who I am.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Listen, you can only be who you are.
That's right.
And I don't know that you miss much. Anyway, I was team BSB, so there's that.
Yep.
So there's that. Oh man.
Love it. So, Erica, can I ask you a hockey question? You know what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you what Nashville Predators fans want to know. What's up with Ellie Tolvanen?
Okay. So you know what? We're going to be talking about Ellie soon because he's been in the news cycle, along with, of course, Maddie Beniers. Two players that, in the estimation of a lot of Kraken media members, are two players that we need to figure out what we want to do contract-wise.
Right.
And so Maddie B is in conversations. And then, you know, getting a deal with Ellie Tolvanen got to be high on the list. I think Tolvi, in a different way than Beniers, definitely impacted by kind of everything going down with anemic offense, I would say, of last season. But I just pulled it up here on Cap Friendly, which apparently is going to be owned by the Washington Capitals. Like, who said that was a good idea? Anyway, Ellie Tolvanen, one of 3 RFAs from the forward core, will be an RFA in 24-25. Beniers, Tolvanen, and Kyler Yamamoto.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, I'd like to see them get a deal done there.
Yeah. He, I think, would be a really interesting player if you're transitioning to that faster style of offense. I would be very interested to see how Tolvanen adjusts to that, because what he played, you know, when he was here under, you know, Laviolette, and has that trickled down into the AHL, but especially with John Hines, it was very defense heavy. And that was one of the things that they wanted: more defense, more defense, more defense. So I would be very interested to watch Ellie Tolvanen in a system that maybe focuses more on speed and offense. So that's something that Preds fans will be keeping an eye on when it comes to the Kraken this season, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's something that Tolvanen can probably do.
Yeah.
You know, I think that he gave some of that, even though I would say that a lot of people found Dave Haxtell a little bit more defense minded, or he expected a lot, especially from the centerman. And I think it's interesting because there are people who will say that, you know, they didn't like Haxtell's system because, especially and Jared McCann has said this, you know, it's very taxing. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare also said this. It's very taxing for centermen. That being said, I mean, that's kind of like, I don't know, go back to baseball because it's the sport I probably know the best. That's like saying a shortstop's like, well, I feel like I'm getting too many balls.
Right.
That's
the position.
You're the shortstop. You're the shortstop. You're the center. That's what you do.
Yeah. That's like when I was a receptionist and I said, I don't like to talk on the phone. That's the job.
That's the job. What are we talking about? So I'm not with all of that. You know, I think that there's just some conversations that's a little bit outside of reality for what the situation is, especially for a new team.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wasn't down with that. But yeah, I think Tolvi can be that kind of a player. I think he's shown glimpses. I think what really hurt Tolvanen, maybe Beniers to an extent, but more so Tolvanen, is that he had his lines change a lot due to injury and trying to figure out the right combinations and things like that. So, you know, that's always going to hurt you. But okay, I gotta work on my refrigerator. You're not wearing your refrigerator jersey, but
Nope, I got my regular Admiral one. I
So
don't own a refrigerator jersey, but
I
I
don't
need
either.
matching ones.
Yeah, I feel like I just want one. It just seems so cool. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I just want one. Okay. But let's hear from Disco Dan Bilesma. I'm gonna handle my refrigerator, get a little bit of another little stretch break here, and then back for the close of this game. A little bit of work to do on the Firebirds side, but this is a compilation we would have played on Locked On Kraken from Disco Dan Bilesma when he came up to Seattle and was introduced as the next head coach. So you'll hear obviously from Dan, Sam Holloway from the owners, from the ownership group, and Ronnie Francis. It's uploading. So while it's doing that, okay, Lauren, I love this. Stumbled across the Seattle Kraken by accident on English TV channel late night last year and was hooked. Nothing like that over here. That's really cool. I like that. I really like that. Ellie blocks a ton of shots per 60. He loves rubber. See, I didn't. So he's right up there with Tanev for forwards. Tanev is somebody I'm very curious to see what happens with Brandon Tanev. I feel like, I love his energy. I love Turbo's energy, and I just don't know. It might be time. The writing might be on the wall there, and it might be time to see if we can get an upgrade in that position. But all right, let's see if we can
everyone.
get
It's an exciting day. Our future is certainly looking bright. The
All right.
success that
Well,
we've had
great,
in
Dan.
Coachella Valley with our Firebirds has been remarkable. 2 seasons in a row, deep into the playoffs. But it hasn't just been about winning, it's been about developing our players. And today that success directly connects to our future. With someone who knows the young guys, but has also had success in the NHL at the highest level. Because developing our players is going to be crucial for the success of the future of this organization, but so is improving now, and we can do both. We really believe our best days are coming soon, and I'm thrilled with the announcement today. Welcome to Dan.
We did a thorough search, interviewed a lot of quality candidates who I have a lot of respect for, and ultimately we made the decision that Dan was the right guy to lead us. You look at his track record, he's won a Stanley Cup in Pittsburgh, he's won the Jack Adams Award for Coach of the Year in the NHL, he got the opportunity to coach the U.S. Olympic team, and most recently you look at what he's done in Coachella Valley the last couple of years for us. It was heartbreaking, but he got within a Game 7 overtime goal of winning the Calder Cup last year. And again, he's got him well positioned as one of the Final Four teams competing for the Calder Cup again this year. And I think if you look at Dan and talk to some of his players, there's a passion that he brings to the rink each and every day. He works and strives to build relationships with his players, and yet he's still firm with them, but I would say fair in his approach to doing that. And those are all traits we thought were important as we move them here to Seattle and work with our players here with the Kraken.
On behalf of my family, my wife Mary Beth is in the back of the room joining us today, and my son Brian. We're extremely excited and honored and privileged to be joining the Seattle Kraken organization, but this amazing city as well, and the amazing fan base that has already been established with the Kraken here in the first 3 years. To Samantha and the ownership group, I have had the opportunity to be here for the last 3 years in the organization, witness the passion and the vision that you've created, that the ownership group has created for this franchise, and I'm privileged that you believe that I'm the guy to join you in that journey, and so I'm thankful for that.
Question for Samantha, actually. I'm curious, they say a coach is only as good as their players, and, how would you describe the commitment level of the ownership group just to continue to bring in players to help Dan win in the short term, as well as you mentioned earlier, continuing to develop younger players as well?
Yeah, there's lots of pieces to make this a successful team, and Ron and Dan are fully aware of that too, and Dan is one part of that. We have a great group of folks up here in Seattle already, but there's other pieces we need to add as well, right? So I think more than one thing can be true, and we're going to work on all the different areas to continue to improve now.
Zanebag, Davy Jones locker room. Have you had any conversations or discussions about Jessica Campbell's role in the future of this franchise?
Yes, as part of the conversations with Ron over the past little bit here, we've had numerous conversations and we've interviewed a couple times. So the staff and the coaching staff, Jay Leach and Laus are individuals I'd like to talk with here going forward, and the potential bringing in someone else to the organization as well to complement the staff, to complement the players, to complement myself as a coach, and Jessica has been part of that conversation. Stu Bickle has been a part of that conversation. What they've done the last 2 years in developing the players down there, Ty Carte and Riker Evans is evidence of that, and so they are part of the conversation about going forward with the staff here. You could wonder why maybe my path led me to Charlotte, but really it was I was grateful to Ron at the time of just giving me the opportunity to coach again, and I had taken a few years off from being a head coach, and kind of really decided that I wanted to give one more go at being a head coach again. And that's really what led me to Charlotte. I did have an eye on CV. I will say that. I did have an eye on coaching in CV the following year. Obviously, there was the dual affiliation with Florida and the Kraken, and that led Charlotte. But I was really in Charlotte. I did have an eye on proving to Ron that I would be the guy to be the head coach in CV when the franchise started a year ago. So that was more in my thought at that period of time, but really just really more just wanting to connect with the players, connect with that relationship with the players in coaching that I think it can be and should be. That was where I was at really 3 years ago.
Disco Dan, he's got his team down 3-1 as we start the third period here on the road, the Firebirds at Hershey. A few things that I really liked from that, and
Oh!
I was waiting. I was like, I don't know if you got there yet.
Nope, sure did.
Marian Studenic. Where does it go?
Oh, yes.
Forecheck. Great individual play. Oh, you'll love to see it. And this is exactly the momentum shift that you want as the Firebirds. Look at that. That tenacity coming off of the boards, supporting. This is what I love about this. You support your teammate that you see hunting for the puck.
Great shot placement as well. Great shot placement. And like you said, exactly how you want to come out in that third period down to go. You're making the faces, and I'm like, oh, what's happening?
Wait for it. Now.
Oh, there it was. Yeah.
I got the timing pretty good. I was kind of guessing, but I pretty much nailed it.
Nope. You got it. You got it.
Brain had wheels all game.
Yeah. Oh, pick him up.
Oh, I just saw your message. And for those obviously not in the chat, of course, Ann Kimmel, you are welcome for as long as you'd like to stay with us, you can stay.
All right, because I can hang around a long time.
Hey, it's a party. All are welcome. All are invited.
It is a party.
We have a good time.
It is a party.
We did a lot of watch parties last year. The Kraken, Locked on Kraken. Well, because we were actually in the playoffs. Yeah. Not so much this time. And then, oh, hello. You lift me up. I think it's so.
Oh.
You see what I mean?
Yep. There it was. We need to make sure that we do a watch party for Kraken Preds.
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
Not a Cartier partay, but still, we'll take it.
Yep.
We'll take it. Oh yeah, the Firebirds came out fired up.
Yeah, they did.
They
Nice.
did. I like this energy. This is what we need. This is what the game needed. The kind of it's not that the game was slower necessarily, but it was more contained, it felt like, in the second frame. And Hershey wants that, right?
Right.
They can pick things apart. I just feel like if there was a hockey IQ test, that the Hershey team as a team, they'd be pretty high up there. I think they're a really smart team. I really, really do. I respect that about them. They seem really smart, really into like, and in tune with each other, which is hard sometimes. And that's not to say, of course, that the Firebirds don't play that way, but they are more of like a feel team, right? They go with momentum. They like to have a certain cadence and pace. And that's where I think they flourish. So you see they're skating fast.
Right.
Yeah, you know, Dan Bilesman has been talking about it. We've been talking about it here. This is the style that Dan wants. This is where he wants his team to be. And it's two very different workloads.
It is. And like you said, you need to make sure if they're going to pick this pace up, make sure they're ready in net and defensively to cover anything. But I like what we're seeing out of them to start this third period. You know, you come back and you make this now a 1-goal game with so much left in the third period. This is a good place to be if you're the Firebirds.
In my head canon for this game, Dan played an audio clip of JD saying, "Let's get fired up." You know what? For the next watch party, I'm gonna make sure we have that clip. I'm gonna have that ready for us, Locked On Kraken fans.
I got to meet JD at the Milwaukee game. He traveled out. He has family in Wisconsin, so it worked out great for him to travel out. And I was like Locked On hosts in the wild. It was really great to get to see him. And he loved it because he literally got to sit and be a fan, which is a different experience, than
is
for him.
It
so
totally
it was really fun.
You know what's really interesting? I'm pretty sure this is true, but we have never met in the wild.
I don't even know. I know JD was asking me, well, who have you met in real life? And I've met JD Young, who hosts Locked On Sharks, because he was in Nashville for the draft. And of course, being in Nashville there. And I met Sportsology, which is not his real name. That's his Twitter handle.
That's Russ?
Yes, Russ works with Rachel at Locked On Flyers. He was at the draft. And then I went on in my conversation with JD to say, and Erica. And then I was like,
wait a minute. Yeah. I was like,
scratch. I have not hung out with Erica in real life. How is this possible?
I know. That's why I was like, the fact that I didn't know for real, I feel like just speaks volumes. Yes. Do we even, I mean, yes, we do, but like, do we need to? Like, I feel like it's just like old friends catching up for the first time.
Please. Come on now. I love that when we do a crossover episode that's to last 30 minutes, we're usually on for about an hour and a half because we have things to talk about.
We do. We catch up on life. I mean, we've shared life events. It's just good times.
Yep.
Good times had by all. And you know what? The Kraken fans respond to all of the squadcasts. So
I love them. But you were the first person I told outside of my family that I was going to be a grandmother. I was like, I'm not allowed to tell anyone, but I'm telling Erica.
I was like, I don't know your family. It's fine. They're not going to ask me.
Say it out loud to somebody. No.
Be like, hey, you know someone named Ann Kimmel? What else do you know about her?
Yeah. I was like, I'm telling Erica. Erica will. She'll keep it on the down low, and she won't squeal.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Okay, here's the thing. I feel like I said this before because people are like, who are we rooting for in the playoffs? And I was like, the Mavericks and the Firebirds. If you meant the NHL playoffs, I was like, do what you do, fam. No judgment here, but I'm not.
Yeah. You're like, I'm just gonna slowly back up.
I'm just not. That being said, when there is a team that that has a host that I've squad casted with, I root for that team.
100%.
So I was like, sorry, Grant Fuhr, I get why you're rooting for Edmonton. Makes total sense. Like, if I'd won a few Stanley Cups and gotten into the Hockey Hall of Fame with Edmonton, I'd probably root for them too. But I was like, but here's the thing. I know Armando.
100%. And he's been killing it. He's been killing it for
crushing it.
Order.
Now, Bucci-Gras has some questionable moments in his history. That being said, I think we can objectively say that to get Bucci-Gras on the Locked On Panthers show is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah. Yep. He has Armando has done a great job covering this series for sure.
He's really good. He knows his stuff. So Armando and I met for the first time at the All-Star game, not the one in Toronto this past season, but the year prior. And we got to hang out. We got to go to some of the parties that they were hosting, which was cool. I was like, Armando, come to this. He's like, how do you know these people? I was like, honestly, I don't even know, but you should be
going.
We're going. We're going. We're going to have a good time. And we did. We met Sarah Nurse there. Well, I knew Sarah. I know Sarah. So, but Armando and I got to catch up with Sarah Nurse.
Amazing.
Yeah, this was right before the PWHL officially launched. So, yeah, I know there was chaos at the net. Keeps coming off its moorings.
As happens, and that's going to keep happening in this series. That was a big thing that happened with Milwaukee and Coachella Valley, and it's going to continue to happen through the rest of this series as well.
Well, you know what it is, and I love this, is because the Firebirds hunt for the puck.
Yep.
They hunt for that puck. And again, I'm sure Hunter Shepard doesn't appreciate it. I will say respectfully as possible, I don't care what Hunter Shepard likes at this moment. We got his
heart, as we say.
Bless his heart. But yeah, I'm not concerned. He's not at the top of my priority list.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
Yep. Woo. 1-goal game here. I'm liking it.
Yep. Is it going to go to OT again?
Oh,
yeah. And how does that feel? Does Coachella Valley have a thing about overtime as you look at this series just because of the way it ended? I mean, let's just wrap it up.
Well, so we talked about this with JD. We had 3 OT games, including game 7 with Hershey last year.
Yeah.
First one didn't come till game 3, I believe. 3, I believe. I think it was 3, 5, and 7. Something about those odd numbers. And we had a lot of OT games last year.
Yeah.
And that's why we went. So we went 6 with the Admirals last year. 6?
No, did it go 6 or did it go 7?
I don't think it went 7.
Let me look. I got it right here. Why don't I pull it up?
So, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, I'm looking at this year. Let's look at last year.
Okay, something's wrong with this net.
No, it did. It went to 6. You were right.
6. Okay.
Yep, went to 6.
I mean,
oh yeah, that net is coming off pretty easy.
Yeah,
that's coming off pretty easy.
I mean, I know I noted. I was gonna say, oh, I was joking. I wasn't joking. Like it's gamesmanship. Sometimes a goalie will knock the net. I don't want to say it's like well, sometimes they definitely do it intentional and they're just like push it, which I love, which also can be a penalty. But anyway, I think that Shepard earlier was like in the second, he was like, you know what, I'm pushing hard off this. And if it comes off, so be it. You know, but that I agree. This is suspicious now.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's not a Firebirds problem. This is not our barn. I'm gonna need someone at Hershey to fix that.
Oh yeah, that seemed like it came off pretty quick.
Yeah, that was not great. And I mean, it had just come off. We were just talking about the chaos in the net. So something to keep an eye on. Again, I'll say this objectively because I mean, you know, you want to win a game fair and square as much as possible. It's not ideal. Hopefully it's something that the officials are keeping an eye on. Again, a goalie with a sensitivity in net like that, they might force the issue and be like, hey, it's off. And if they don't get that whistle, then they'll make sure that there's no, you just got to knock that thing.
Yeah.
You got to knock that thing off. I love when goalies get feisty like that, though. It's like, I tried to tell you. All right, here we go.
There we go.
29-13 shots overall. That's what they're showing on the graphic.
That seems eerily similar to a couple of the NHL playoff games where you had teams with, far less shots on goal with a lead. So it'll be interesting to see, okay, what can Coachella Valley do here?
Agreed. We got a goal so early, but I was wanting to talk about some of the things that Dan talked about, including a part of his story is, he had an unceremonious exit from Buffalo in particular. And that's always something that I think is interesting with NHL coaches. On the one hand, I mean, who among us, right, hasn't had a bad day at the office?
Yes,
Or
correct.
a few times. And sometimes you get let go. It happens. And I mean, hockey is, okay, good. Who was that? Was that Olofsson again? I'm liking what I'm seeing from Olofsson defensively. He's cleaning up. See, this is the thing. He's cleaning up a lot of things defensively.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep eyes on him a little bit more. I still haven't figured out who that other player was with him. I got to watch it back. I couldn't catch the number. But I'm putting an asterisk next to that player because I did not like that defensive assignment. Olofsson had to clean that up and likely he was on the ice anyway, so it's going to negatively impact his plus minus, but he hauled buns to try and have a last ditch effort to stop
Get there.
that
Yep.
shot. It was just a perfect pass. That was beautiful.
Yep. From former Admiral Jimmy Huntington.
There you go.
We hang on to the little things.
Hey, he had scored right before that. So
There you go.
Mm.
You got to limit. Yep. You want to limit that.
Yep.
That was a nice pass.
Yeah.
That was a nice low to high pass.
Ooh, whiffed on that, babes.
Mm.
Reese's replay. I guess Reese's is in the Hershey family.
Yes, they are. But don't give us those King Cups.
Don't give us the King Cups. I think there's a commercial right now. It is still 3-2. We are at 10-18 in the third, Chris. 10-18. I just saw that comment. Sorry, Chris. But yeah, so Dan, a little bit of a redemption for him coming back to the Firebirds. I'd say pass with flying colors.
Oh dear. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
I'm not there yet, but it looks, yep, there it is. Man,
all right. So it is no longer 3-2, Chris.
Wow.
No longer 3-2. Okay. I talked about it a little earlier. Shots from distance, lose the face off.
That was a great shot.
That's just, the camera couldn't even catch it.
Yeah. That was a very clean face-off win too. That was a good face-off win.
Good Lord, tucked it right in. My
goodness.
Shane lost that face-off. Would I have liked Drieger to get a hold of that? Sure. Well, of course. And that was a really nice shot.
Yeah.
Really, really nice shot. Clean face-off win. We talked about the face-off kind of, I think you have to be so skilled to execute a face-off, like a set play on a face-off.
Yes.
Because face-offs, whoa.
Uh-oh.
I got nervous. I had to stop talking because I didn't know what happened there. Drieger didn't look like he knew where the puck was.
Oof. Yeah, I didn't know where the puck was. All of a sudden, it was somewhere completely
completely different. Yeah. He didn't know. I was like, well, it's not in the net. And then I was like, oh, you must have squeezed it in the gear. And then it was on the other side of the ice.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa. Yeah. Shane has been in the picture on a couple of these goals. Can't lose face-offs that clean. Yep. So again, I respectfully decline to entertain the fact that the reason that Matty Beniers was down offensively is because he focused on winning faceoffs. Listen, if that's true, it could definitely be true that, you want to focus on one part of your game so another part suffers, at least in the short term. That makes total sense to me. And am I mad? Am I mad that he's focusing on faceoffs and winning faceoffs for a team that doesn't win faceoffs all that well? And the fact that he's a top 6 centerman? Of course not. That's
Right.
your job, bro.
Yep.
That's like being, Joey Decord, if only he had more chances, if only he had more time to practice, taking, shots from the goal net. Then we would score more goals. Bro, his job is literally to stop the puck. You're like, why are we worried about the wrong things? But anyway, I digress.
Yeah. Yep. We have Predators, of course, added last offseason Ryan O'Reilly, who is an absolute beast in the face-off circle. And what is so interesting about him is that he, first of all, never misses an optional skate. Ryan O'Reilly has never missed an optional skate. And he spends the last probably 15 minutes of practice doing face-offs. And working with, and I will say, I give him credit, he's working with some of the other, like Michael McCarron, Tommy Novak, some of the other younger players who are getting more chances in the face-off circle. But yeah, it is such an important skill set that is not entirely based on what you do.
Correct.
And so it is very difficult to be good in the face-off circle.
It's extremely difficult. So Jillian Dempsey now plays in the PWHL, played in Boston for the Boston Pride for a number of years. And in their first cup win as far as part of the Boston Pride in the NWHL, they were a pretty dominant team, especially on the back end. And there's this one little interview clip where they talk about this face-off win between Jillian Dempsey and I think it was Emily Fields. And they like had a game plan, and then those two get together, and Emily Fields is like, all right, Demps, this is what we're going to do. And then they did exactly that. Like, that's so difficult.
Yes.
And like the level of confidence you have to have in your skill set to be able to do that on a face-off where it depends on, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare talked to us about this on Locked On Kraken. You sometimes you have officials that drop the puck a little bit differently.
Right.
You have to then figure out what your opponent in the dot at the dot is going to do. There's so many other variables, like you said, that don't have anything to do with you, and to still be able to execute a set play. I'm just like, I love it. I love it.
It's an incredible ability.
Yeah. Not going to be great. And you know what? We saw this in the previous series. Had that one game.
Yep. I was there. You're welcome. You're welcome, Milwaukee. I'll stay longer next season.
That's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
As much as goalies can save a game, sometimes it's not there. I don't know that this is all on Chris.
Oh, the face. Oh no.
Okay.
Oh.
I was, yeah.
That's great puck movement. Great puck movement, but man, there was some space there.
Oh yeah.
That net was yawning, friends.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah. What is interesting, I wanted to share with you at the game that I was at where Milwaukee won that series in Milwaukee this go round, this past series against Coachella Valley. Head coach Carl Taylor talked about that. And one of the things that was so important from that game is that you got over that mental hurdle of we can't get one past Chris Drieger.
Yeah.
And, obviously, the next game they struggled to get it past there, but there almost was a frustration of we cannot get something past him. And you have to have the experience of that goaltender kind of being a human again in net.
Yeah.
And for Milwaukee, that game gave them that, but obviously didn't do quite enough.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. And so, right now for me, yeah, they got 4 on Drieger. But to me, what stands out the most is just some lapses in judgment and communication.
Yeah.
Which on the one hand is extremely frustrating. On the other hand, those are things you can fix.
That's an easy cleanup.
Yep.
Yep. Easy cleanup.
So goldfish, right? Goldfish memory.
Be a goldfish. Be a goldfish. Shortest memory.
Yep. You gotta, not just from game to game, but from shift to shift, right? Because there are things that Coachella Valley probably likes that they're doing. Came out really hot. I mean, that goal right off the hop in the third. That's the thing. If you can score quickly, we've got 6:37 left.
Yeah.
As of right now. So you stay the course. You know, the Calder Cup's not going to be won after this game. Although I'm of the opinion that that's not something, if I'm a coach, that's not something I'm telling my players. That's not something I want to hear from my players.
No.
I mean, I think it's, of course, cognitively, it's probably back there for everyone. You know, no one's going to win the series in game 2. And
right. But you don't want to go in thinking, hey, it's a 7-game series. No, you want to go in thinking this is a 1-game series.
Exactly.
And you have the blessing at the end if you drop a game of going, okay. But you can't go into a game in any sort of finals, AHL, NHL. You can't go in going, hey, it's a 7-game series. Oh, no. Oh, the face. All right, we got... Oh, how did he save that? What? Wow. What? And we have a scrum in front of the net. Whoa, he's just kind of rubbing his face. There's a face rubbing. Oh, man.
And then he got a poke check in there, too. Holy cannoli. The hand-eye coordination.
That's amazing.
I mean, you would think a goalie would have good hand-eye coordination. But
goalies are wizards, I have decided. They board the train at platform 9 3/4 because it is just physical, mental wizardry.
I can't even be mad at that. Like,
yeah, you got to respect that.
Wow.
You got to respect that.
Yes, every game is a championship for the best team that game. Exactly. You have to attack it like that. The way that you overcome a defeat in any given scenario is that you're like, okay, you know, we have another chance at this, but you don't go in. I agree. You don't go in. You don't let that mentality seep in until you have a final result. Because look, 5:59, you're down 2 goals. Who says you're going to be down 2 goals in another 30 seconds?
Absolutely. Wow. Shots 32-18 at this point right now in the third period.
Wild.
That is wild. And again, you know, you look at the shots on goal and you look at the score, but you think a couple of those goals with some communication or a little quicker on the defense there, and you're looking at a tie game.
Yeah. And this is the thing, you don't want anyone to be pressing right now. I thought about it in the second. Because of how timeouts are in hockey, you don't traditionally see a team use their timeout early. I'd say the second period's pretty early. And it just felt to me like, all right, maybe let's regroup here. You know?
Yeah.
Let's regroup. And that's the thing about hockey as compared to basketball, right? You've got a few different timeouts that you can use. In hockey, you really have to be communicating all the time in real time because you only get that one timeout.
Right. Your adjustments have to be made on the fly in between shifts quickly.
Yep. And that can be tough to do. You really have to be locked in with the game plan. You got to know who your go-tos are. And that's another thing, whether it's spoken or unspoken. I think normally for the most elite teams, it's a little bit of both, you know, like I was just saying with Emily Fields and Julian Dempsey, they're coming off of a timeout or, a stoppage, a whistle, and they were in a huddle. And then outside of the huddle, they were like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Because sometimes you just see things differently on the ice, and you have to have, again, I said it, the confidence, but also the trust and the knowledge of your team to be able to make those adjustments. So there's that part of it, which I think makes hockey so interesting. It makes it really, really interesting. A lot of the work is done well before you hit the ice.
Yes. Yep. I just saw an advertisement for the NHL draft. Are you going to be at the draft, Erica?
I will not be at the draft.
Yeah.
Are you heading? Yeah, you're heading to Vegas. I was thinking about going. We've got the number 8 pick.
Yeah.
So we just had our mock draft.
Yeah.
We're going with I picked a defenseman.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Ziev Bouyam. I keep saying his last name wrong. I got to get it right. It sounds like sometimes I hear it and it sounds like there's an L in there somewhere, but I think I just make it up. But yeah, he's from California originally, plays at Denver, and just really solid defender.
Like that. We went, and I got to look back here through because Emma made our pick for us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Oh, nope.
Bouyam.
There's a lot of fun you can have with that. Like, come on now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna exaggerate it. That's how I'll get it right. Bouyam.
Let's go. Yep. I can't remember. I can't find our list.
Let me see if I still have.
Yeah. Yep. We took a forward, I believe. Predators are big on not necessarily targeting a specific position. They are huge on next best player up.
Yes.
They're not necessarily, and when they picked Yaroslav Askarov with as a goaltender, and I think he was the 11th overall pick, I believe, it was pretty shocking. But they really felt like they needed to pick him up.
Yeah. That's interesting because there's always a few different ways to approach a draft, especially in some ways, I guess sometimes the first overall pick can be the hardest because do you take the best player available or do you take the best player for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the tough one. And then obviously there's always drama. We know nothing about that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
We talked about it on the pod, but I don't think I leaned into how ridiculous I think it is that there are trade rumors that Montreal might take Shane Wright from the Kraken organization.
We have seen some propositions, people saying, hey, if the Nashville Predators wanted to move up to I believe New Jersey was talking about maybe they have the 10th pick overall. I believe it was New Jersey. And they basically want UC Soros and Barry Trotz's kidney for the 10th overall pick. And it's like,
I think we're going to pass.
I think we're going to pass. Now, I can see Barry Trotz swinging real big if he could get in the top 5.
Top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the mock draft.
Yep, here we go. Cole Bowden. Cole.
Oh, hey, Cole.
Hey, Cole.
There you go.
That's
so, okay, another Cole. The Devils took a Cole Eiserman. That's hilarious.
There you go. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do we have anybody here? I'm interested. It's interesting to see the number of defensemen taken and how early they were taken in this draft. I like that.
I know.
Yeah.
NHL Utah, not used to it.
What are we doing?
Don't mess around. Pick Cole Eiserman. Also going to say it. I like Shane. I think Shane has a great future with the Kraken. Shane needs to be better next game.
Oh, 100%. Wow.
100%. He was not great. Now, we will take this within the context that this is his first series since the Reign, I believe. So that was our second series, third round overall, I guess. Just something to keep in mind. And that's where, managing minutes, you don't want to have to do that in the final. And if you got a player that's coming off of an injury that hasn't played, you got to get your lungs back. Just something to keep in mind. Of course, you want Shane Wright on the ice. And we know that the Firebirds can win without Shane Wright. Not as a slight, just as a matter of fact.
Yeah. What was his injury? Do we know?
Lower body. I want to say left ankle, I think. And excuse me, empty net right now.
Ooh, 2:42 left. Empty net. This, it's what you got to do. But oof.
Ooh.
Oh, man. You want to get somebody right there net front to be ready to do something with that pass.
Yep.
Wow, look at that wall of defenders right there.
Yep.
For Hershey.
And they got pressed in again.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Oh, there's some spice net front, friends.
Yep. All right. All right. All right.
Bit of contact.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh. We're getting a penalty, though.
No joke. Okay.
Oh, dear.
Oh, wow. Yes, I could see where maybe there would be a penalty as there are bodies on the ice.
Mm-hmm. And then... Yep.
And then warm greetings.
Greetings and salutations.
Greetings. Yeah, salutations.
Family recipes.
Oof.
Mm-hmm. So I have that the clock stopped at 1:51. Oh yeah, that's not okay. Oh man, and a crash right in front of Shepherd too.
Oh,
McCormick, yeah.
Man. Is he up? Does he get back up from that? That looked knee on knee right there, baby.
Yeah, he took a while to get up.
So we're looking at 6-on-4. A quick goal here at 6-on-4.
Jessica Campbell spotting.
There she is.
Man, it feels like it's less than a 2-goal game. It feels tighter than a 2-goal game right now.
It does.
Under pressure.
I know. I don't really have a dog in this fight, and I'm feeling a little anxious about this minute 51 left. I mean, anything can happen.
Hockey. I really try. I mean, I feel like obviously I have my fandoms, whether it's a team or individuals on the ice, but I like and appreciate when even in real time people can just appreciate a good play or a bad play for that matter. Like just be true to the game. That's what I try to do. Be true to the game. Having passion, is fine, but always be true to the game. Mm.
Oh,
you can see what they're going for here, though.
Yeah,
they're trying to feed Cole Lind. They're trying to feed Cole Lind there. That's the side that they want to go to. .142 on the power play. Oh, issue with the clock.
I was just going to say, wow. I mean, I
was like, we went back in time.
We went back in time. There we go.
I was like, I mean, who am I to say? With the way the score is, I mean.
Hershey is going to oppose that.
Yeah.
But, 133 left. 6-on-4. What can you do with this? This is a golden opportunity.
Uh-huh. And you don't want to press too much, but you don't want to overthink and hold on to it.
Yeah.
You got a Bears fan in the chat. Hey, Harry. The Bears are going right now. I appreciate your enthusiasm. And they're going. There we go. Let's go, Birds.
And I just want everybody to have fun.
just wanna have fun.
All right, what is the delay here? Let's get this puck drop.
All right. I think, yeah, because it looks like, oh, they added 2 seconds also.
That's what, okay, there we go. 1:35 left.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
I got to win this face off.
They didn't.
This is when Morgan Freeman comes on and says, and they did not.
Yes. 4-2, 113 and ticking.
And they're doing a good job keeping that cross ice action from happening right there. Oh. Where is it?
Yes, empty net. Oof. 40 seconds. Broken twig on the ice. Ugh.
Oh, come on. You want to put that in.
Firebirds almost lose it. It's probably their last push. 25 seconds left. They take the zone. Hughes with an off-ankle shot brings it to the... Oh, another clear and a goal.
There it is. 20 seconds left. 5-2. Empty net goal. Who scored that goal? Was that Jimmy? Was that little Jimmy Huntington again? Former Milwaukee Admiral? Oh, nope, it wasn't.
No, that was...
But he was on the ice for it, friends.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Hardy, Hyman, Actel.
But you have to feel good, and I know we still have 10.9 seconds left, but, you know, you come on the road, you get the split, hostile environment, headed back home.
Yeah, I mean, you'll take it.
You'll take it.
You'll take it.
Yep.
You want to be able to get at least one on the road.
Yes. Yep.
Now.
And the Bears get it done.
And we talked about this. I talked about this before you hopped on with us. And I think it's 7-2 is the record for the Hershey Bears at home in the postseason this year.
Very good at home.
Yep.
Very good at home. Now, I would also say Coachella Valley, what is their home record through this,
Yeah, I honestly do not know. Let's see.
Yeah. Because they won them all against Milwaukee.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be up there.
Yeah. They won both against Milwaukee at home. And then Milwaukee took the series in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I haven't personally counted it, and it's not in funnily enough. I hate saying that, actually. I don't know why I just did that. Interestingly enough.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Interestingly enough, Bob Condor didn't put the home record for the Firebirds in his article.
Yeah.
But we'll have it. We'll have it for the next Locked On Kraken show. But it's got to be pretty good. But I agree with Striatic. There's some work to do. You'll take the split, and they could have won this game.
Yeah. Couple of mistakes. Like you said, mistakes, communication. You want to clean that stuff up, and it puts Coachella Valley in a very different position going into that third period.
Exactly.
sets up something different. So, let's see what they do back at home on home ice. Take it from somebody who watched some of those games as the opposing fan. Y'all have a pretty hostile environment as well. So let's see what they can do back home in Coachella Valley.
From Russia. Look at that. That's amazing.
Love
Yeah,
that.
Chris needs a good bounce back. I have confidence. So let's take a look at the schedule before we hop off of here, Ann. But we know that as you said, the series goes back to Coachella Valley. That's going to be Tuesday night, June 18th, and then game 4 will be Thursday night at 7 p.m. Probably do another watch party for the Thursday game. So of course you're always welcome to join us here. But yeah, just need a little bit of a bounce back here. Give credit to the Hershey Bears, but this is exactly what we know they can do. And really, if I'm the Firebirds, you have some takeaways, you shake it off 24 hours later, and you really lean into what your purpose is, what the goal is. The goal is unfinished business. We know that this team will look very different if only at the coaching level. But I'm thinking because of the coaching change, also with the personnel and the roster. So you really want to lean into taking every opportunity to do it together, to get done, to finish the unfinished business, to get it done. And it just so happens that could culminate in a championship. That's really rare. You got to lean into that. You got to have a lot of confidence going out on the ice and learn from these mistakes, make the adjustments, and do what you know you can do.
Yeah. And look, this is a Coachella Valley team. We're talking about Chris Drager. This is somebody who had a great bounce back game against Milwaukee when Milwaukee was able to put up 7 goals against them. So I feel like, let's see what you can put together. And you're right. This is such a great yet unwritten story for Coachella Valley. So,
Yeah. So let's see what we got. I think this is interesting when Harry's saying the jet lag. That also is something just worth noting, that the Firebirds were on the East Coast for several days before they took on game 1 against the Hershey Bears. So they've been on East Coast time for a while. And as someone who has gone coast to coast and often travels through time zones, it can be a little bit daunting. Not maybe the first 24 hours, but definitely by the first 48, it's a little brutal. So they have a few days. Again, that game, or a couple of days, I guess, that game is going to be on Tuesday. I have to guess both teams are traveling out immediately following this one. Want to get to the West Coast as soon as possible, get some rest. For the Firebirds, that means they get to sleep in their own bed, and it should be good. This is hilarious. Fuego and Bowie need to tag team to cut Hunter Shepard's hair, rob him of his power.
Samson and Net, baby. Samson and Net. Come on.
Man. And they did their little, countdown to the cup ceremony on the ice. I've never seen that before. I kind of liked it. I mean, if I were a Hershey fan, I would really like it. Not so much as a Firebirds fan, but we want to eliminate them being able to count down anymore. So again, next game is Tuesday, but of course, tune in to Locked On Kraken for my overall thoughts on game 1 and game 2. But Ann, before we sign off here, remind folks the special guest that you have coming up on the Locked On Preds podcast and why that might be interesting to Firebirds fans.
I love this. Yeah. So this week on Locked On Predators podcast, we are so excited. We are going to have special guest Kimberly Bates. Kimberly Bates is the social media manager for the Milwaukee Admirals. And you all got a little saucy with Miss Kimberly. And Miss Kimberly, she can take it and she can dish it out. So jump on. We're excited to talk to her about her hockey origin story, talk about her experience in sports, talk about the Admiral series and the dance that is managing social media in the sports sphere, which is, again, we've had a relationship, y'all, online. So yeah, jump in, Locked On Predators, and join us this week.
I love it. And you might even get the Admiral's point of view as to why they blocked Fuego.
I will ask the hard-hitting questions. I will ask the hard-hitting questions.
In hockey, there are blocks. So, there you go. Just up in the tally for the social media team.
That's right. That's right.
Well, and I follow in suit with what Striatic is saying. Thank you so much. Well, in our case, for making this loss much more entertaining. But it's always a good time to chat with you. Thanks for hanging out. And again, looks like we're probably going to do another watch party for Thursday. So you are more than welcome to join us. And again, make sure you're listening to Locked On Nashville Predators, not just for the spice with Fuego, but also just because you get some really great hockey analysis. But for Ann Kimmel, of course, my name is Erica L. Ayala. Thank you all so much for joining us. And we will catch you on our next episodes, respectively, of course, Locked On Nashville Predators and Locked On Seattle Kraken. For those who it applies to, happy Father's Day. For those who this is a little bit of a tough weekend, holding you in my heart as well. But hold fast, stay true, be kind to yourselves, be kind to one another, and we will catch you on the next episode. Peace out, everybody.